That's so exciting, and it's so amazingly attractive.
Yeah, you're not laughing now, are you?
I don't know what happened there, people. I don't know why I'm so small either. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? What has already... I'm not so small when I look at it on that one. You can hear by my voice, it's a bit... Well, I've got a bit of a story to tell you. I haven't streamed for a while. Good audio. New microphone. Where am I? Loud and clear. I don't need to look over there, do I? I can look over here. Hang on. There you go. Lovely. So I moved out of my pad. This is the girlfriend's house in which I now live. Now, where I lived before, 6 years ago, I moved in there. It was lovely. It was all very sort of Cambodian and all dusty dirt tracks to get everywhere. And over the years, it kind of became the cool area to leave. I probably started that trend, you know. Yeah. And it's just like being in Europe now. I see more European people in that area than Cambodian people. And some geezer turned up and built 5 restaurants, and he was interviewed in the Khmer Times. And he was like, well, you know, they said, why 5? And he said, well, it could be 100. You know, let's bring some of the cool stuff to Cambodia. And it's sort of like, nah, let's not. Let's leave it to develop itself. Now, I don't like people. I don't get any schadenfreude from people failing their business, but 2 of them have already gone out of business. So you've got empty shells with smashed up tiling, and the other 2, I can't see how he's maintaining. Can you hear that? I've got the windows open here, and I've got an amazing new setup. Check it out. Check it out. After all those years, new microphone, new speakers. I haven't got my speakers glued to an empty bottle of Tiger Balm anymore. In some ways, a shame, of course. Now, fair play, Johnny. Now, listen, I'll wait for a few more people to rock up. I mean, maybe they won't. Moderator. Yes, why, thank you. That it is a real background. Now, you see that. This is quite cute. Hang on. Oh, God. Packer's going to be taking the right piss out of me. Why can't I do that? Right. That photo is actually very sweet. I don't have a full-size photo of my dad's face. I've got like... Did you hear the Vart? Did you hear the Vart? I just want to know. Did you hear that? Because I certainly heard it. If I can turn that up. You know what, Tricky Woo? No Vart, okay. My missus is... Oh, I'm pressing the wrong thing. My missus is having a little bit more trouble dealing with it than me, because I was glad to get out of that house. It was making me ill. There was so much water damage. Pax Max was here last week, and he came. I showed him the pad, and I showed him all the water damage. And you know, I had a sore throat for like 2 years. No way, the grift has begun. Look at that. Anglo, you started a trend. I mean, people, if I haven't replied, when there's a few more people here, I'll explain why I haven't been around. And there's a part 2 of that story that's going to maybe interest you. It will certainly be another strange chapter in the life of this channel. But I don't want to go into it and then have to repeat it more. We might not get any more people, though. I know it's early, but... I've got to start getting to bed a bit earlier, people. That last stream I done was 5 hours, which occasionally I'll still do, but I'll have to start earlier. And Arsenal are playing at 12:30. I think it's 12:30. Yeah, I think it's 12:30. Not your time, obviously. Anglo, that's amazing. He says, towards your gaff in the province is a minefield building a prop. I was about, before I read your last line, I was going to say, no, you're absolutely right. Literally, in your case, the missus doesn't say, thank you, Anglo, for the support, regular support, amazing. The missus doesn't seem to think so, but I think we'll likely buy a pre-built older property. Not what originally I wanted, a traditional Cambodian house on stilts, very basic, but it can go wrong very badly very quickly if the monsoon season goes on for 2 weeks longer. The termites go out of their minds and they eat your house, and you see them in the provinces, just houses that one day just go because the stilts have been eaten through. I read a story on an expat forum I'm part of about a bloke who built a traditional old Cambodian house, but like nice, high specs and all that. And the bloke that come round and sprayed it all, and you have to spray every single bit of wood, termite protection. And 5 months later, just fell down. And when he had some housing surveyors come in, they said, why didn't you get your house treated? He said, I did. And they said, well, we've done tests on that wood and that's had absolutely no termite treatment. So the geezer must have just put some vinegar or something in some water and there you go, $500, thanks. That's going to be a year, 2 years anyway. I mean, money, getting the land. And also, I really like it here. We're right in the middle of the city now. I mean, I come from the middle of the city. And, we have breakfast out on the balcony. And check this out. This pad has got this room, which is sort of like one of them. You can't see much, but there's a balcony just there. And the missus has grown loads of aloe vera. Some of them are like 2.5 foot tall. They're like monsters. And then it's got a bedroom there behind me in there. And then there's another room. And then there's a kitchen with a shower in it and a sink and a sink for washing up, as well as like a hand basin near the shower area. In English money, I think it would be all in. This is power, electricity, power is electricity. I think in English money it'd be about 140 a month. So that, what a amazing saving. I was paying I was paying a lot more than that for the other pad, but with business, but yeah, with it was all going rotten. In the monsoon season, some of my clothes would grow mold on them. All the like cottons and wool and stuff. Thanks for that. Anyway, nice one, Anglo. Yeah, for people who don't know, a lot of Cambodia, I think it's one of the most live mined places in the world. At the end of the Khmer Rouge, when the Vietnamese come in, it's a bit politically dubious. Oh, we're coming to help. Meanwhile, they were building themselves houses and shops while the Cambodian people, the Khmer people, were literally starving. Yeah, we're helping to have your land. A little bit contentious. Probably shouldn't say that while living here. But who am I to judge? I'm a guest here. I always say this, then I am a guest. It's a privilege to be here. Marzipan's been a member for 39 months. He's been a member at least twice that. Nice one, Ian. JP, 38 months. At least twice that. Nice one, JP. Lovely. Much appreciated. Who else we got in here? 607 Smith W. Hello, mate. Nice to see you. They really are. You can't get away from them. Let me tell you something quite sweet. I was like I say, I've been here a while, but because my area became very, what do they call it when I can't remember the word. I'm sure someone will put it in the chat in a minute. Gentrified. And I like Cambodia. That's why I came here. Lars has been a member for 47 months. I reckon that might be about right. Probably a bit longer actually. Nice one, Lars. Much obliged, Cuckoo. I still will read your story when there's a few more people here. I'll explain why I haven't answered any emails. And I see the first line, and loads of people asking me how I am and all that, because you see the first line, don't you? But I've literally got about 600 emails. I haven't been paying attention to a lot of work. I'll explain all this in a bit anyway. But we still will have a cracking stream, I'm sure. Livy's been on the firm for 3 months. Nice one, Livster. That's a Marzan. Little change of accent with amazing there to give me a little bit of class and decorum. Who else is in we haven't said hello to? Have I actually said hello, John? Hello, John. A few sights and sounds. There you go. Got it. Barrett Zippo's on the firm. Nice to see you, mate. Eleanor. Hello, Eleanor. Hello. Hang on. Hello, Hans. Ringing the... hello, Johnny. Rune Sky sitting. Hello, nice to see you. Ellie. I mean, it's 10:15 here, so going back to that relocating. Right, I'm just going to tell the story now because it's not my usual streaming time. We might not get any more people. I hope we do, obviously. Well, it's just gone up 3. So this is what happened, right? So I had the sinusitis. Do you remember that boring when I just had to spray that thing up my nostril and the spaghetti bolognese come out the other one? But weirdly, it was after that just wore me out, right? Now, on top of the sinusitis, I do dabble. I've never said I'm clean. I do dabble. And it was the bit after the sinusitis when I'd recovered from the symptoms, I was just drained. Like I tried to do the gym, and look at me. I used to be absolute. I mean, I'm not bad, but Jesus, I was training. Darling, be careful with those weights, love. Talking about weight, she's doing it. She's just had a appendix out, so she's lifting weights. She's not doing training. She's tidying up. But it was the recovery period afterwards. I was just done, that. And then of course my girlfriend had stomach pains, rushed her to hospital, and they said we need to operate immediately. Like from walking into a 24-hour hospital to have a little check for stomach pains, and they said no, we've got to take that out immediately because if it explodes, and that's what literally happens. Sorry if you're eating, but your appendix gets full of bacteria and it stretches. I mean, hers was about that long. It should be about an inch, and then it just blows up and it gets all in your blood and sepsis and all sorts of that, and it can kill you. So that was quite the stress. And then with business, the struggling with business, getting over the sinusitis, going to the hospital every day, all that other lark going on, and with the house move, coming up, and streaming like 3-4 hours because I liked it and I needed, I need this place as much as a lot of people say that, your streams got me through some really hard times. Well, likewise, it's lovely to speak English for a long time to people. And so it all came to a head with the move. It was all planned. I got 2 tuk-tuk drivers. Now, they're regulars. I've been using them for years. So I thought, well, I'll give them the work. One of them's about 70, soldier in the wars, got some stories that would make your toes curl. He said to me, most Khmer people over 50 have eaten human flesh. And you're like, Okay. But, you know, what do you do? What do you do when there's nothing to eat? You know, I've got no shame in saying if I that could have gone well dark, couldn't it? I've got no shame in saying I too have eaten human flesh. But when you're literally starving and dying, you'd eat it. It happened in the Soviet Union. There's posters in a museum in Kiev where it says that were put up during the during the communism in Soviet Union, and it was don't eat dead people, and specifically one of them was don't eat your dead children. Now this might sound like a weird thing to say, but why not? Why specifically not your children? What you can give them to the neighbour, maybe swap. But I think you probably would, because you know that's why the Khmer diet. If you go to a fancy restaurant, they'll have snails the size of your fist, not like your little escargot and a little bit of butter and garlic. This is a lump of, like a Michelin tire, really, in batter, and tarantulas and geckos. If you go to like a fair out here, you know, if there's a Buddhist celebration, which there always is, it's seemingly all the time. Oh, I tell you what, 8 o'clock this morning. Last night, my girlfriend set her alarm for 8 o'clock. I was like, a bit early for a Saturday, innit, love? She said, I'll go back to bed after. I was like, after what? Because I've only been here. I've been here about 5 days, but she went to the provinces for a couple of days because she was just stressed out with all the mess in her house. And I said I'd sort it out and didn't. But she wakes up and she gets the old joss sticks in between her hands. She's got a little Buddhist thing down there. And every day she puts a little bit of fresh fruit and some other bits and bobs, I don't know. Like strange things like hand cream, I don't know, I don't get it. And then she says her prayers. And actually I'll ask her, darling, come here, please. Brahminiti. Oh, you know this here with the Buddha. How many times? Aman on for
1 month.
Yeah, Muay
4
Thai.
times.
Okay, so once Muay Sapada.
With Sapada, with night.
Okay, so that 4 times a month, and basically it's the weekend because most people are working. And she went up the riverside earlier and come back. She said, "Oh, it's so busy up there because there's a wat up there, a temple." And I just saw her doing it, and I thought, you know, I've seen what's happened to a country that lets its religion disappear. It creates a void, and a void that is ready to be filled by a different religion. And I said to her, "Am I allowed to join in?" She was like, "Yeah, I didn't today, but I will do." And I have been to temples and they flick the water at us and that. It's quite funny because they all crack up when they get like water. They don't know it's coming at their way if there's a load of them in the audience. And it's not because it's not disrespectful. This is their culture. So they're not like, "Oh God, this is all," you know. No, this is just what they do. It's very normal to them. And even the monks, if they get you with a particular big splash in the eye or something, the monks will laugh. That's nice. It doesn't have to be all dour and sort of, you know. Buddhism is quite a jolly religion, I've noticed since I've been out here. Well, Khmer Buddhism is anyway. So I get these 2 tuk-tuk drivers and I hire three other blokes. One of her sister's sons, who's about 19. The 2 tuk-tuk drivers are going to do some lifting as well. And one of her many brother-in-laws. And I'm paying them, but a lot by their standards, but not a lot by mine. I gave the tuk-tuk drivers 20 quid each and the blokes 15 quid each. So, work it out. I mean, to get a crew to move house, including going down one set of stairs, which was quite long and very narrow. Some of them had to walk sideways, which makes it an absolute nightmare, like crabbing it. And then moving in here, you go up a flight of stairs. There's a 180-degree turn, so a lot of stuff had to go over the top of that. And I just couldn't be the European with the money just watching these two of them old men in the 38. It was 38 degrees as well, and because I wanted to get it done before all the traffic, it was just after midday, worst possible time. So I thought, nah, fuck this, I'm going to help. And that's where it all started going wrong. I was doing it, and I was like whiting out a bit, and I was thinking, no, you'll be all right, you'll be all right. Everyone was sweating, obviously. We all took a break. We got in a lot of water and that. And about 10 o'clock that night, I just fell asleep. I've woken up at 10 o'clock at night more times than I've gone to bed at 10 o'clock at night in the last sort of 30 years. And I just... The next day, the girlfriend goes to buy something for the kitchens to put all the stuff that I've bought, like plates and, kitchen, I don't know what it's called, kitchenware, stuff, crockery, and all that. And when she gets there, she's about 40 quid short. And she calls me. And my phone's on, but I don't hear it. I'm that under. In fact, I've just seen a couple of super chats come through, or one, or a membership. I won't miss that. I can see it says there 6. I haven't put my little thing there, have I? Where's that? Hang on, I've got to get the old QR code sorted out. Where is it? Where's that then? Oh man. Oh, it's there. But it's in the bottom right-hand corner, is it? Can you see it? It's usually there, isn't it? I don't know what's going on, man. Right, you should be able to see a QR code. I can't, so who knows what's going on. Right, so hello, Rusty. Nice to see you. So I'm not waking up, and she's already got to deal with this bit of kitchen furniture, and I'm not waking up, so she has to get a tuk-tuk all the way back, and she can't wake me up. Like, she's shaking me, and I haven't been that asleep, that comatose, since the dark and dreary days of crack, where you're that fucked. And it took me it's taken me the last 2 weeks to recover. I've been like an old man, like not being able to do things, like nibbling at little bits of food. That's why I haven't streamed. And I've decided I need to take a rest. I need to take a rest from work. I need to take a rest from streaming, from writing. I just need to do nothing. So I'm going to go and make a film. I'm not even joking, but there's a bit of an edge to that, and I'll this won't be for about 2 or 3 weeks, but I'll let you know before I go. And I'm going to couple of months, maybe 6 weeks, I don't know. But yeah, there's interesting stuff coming. Anyway, why can't I get that up? Or why do they keep changing this? Can you see that? Can you see I don't think that brand's going to work. I can see it on YouTube. Well, did someone do us a favour? Can someone... I've got to keep the grift going. Hello, a few sights and sounds. Can you see that QR code in the bottom right? And if you drag your phone camera over it, does it work? Does it give you a link? It looks way too small for me. It's usually up there. I don't know what these people are doing with all these newfangled setups. Gives me the heebie-jeebies, it does. Anyway, I invited Packer, but he's obviously out. Packer, I sent your missus a... You can see it, but what? Is it up there, though, Packer, or is it down there? And it shows you a link, does it, Packer? I take it you just want to watch, Packer. I did send your missus the link. No dramas. If you change your mind, let me know. Hang on. What's that preview? Edit. I've got no idea what all that is. Right, anyway, this is a call-in show. I've kept it to half an hour, gibber at the front. But listen, the film, I've got someone to edit it, and it's going to be something quite amazing. But more about that another time. I just thought, like, I haven't got a lot of energy, people. I'll probably wrap this up about 20 past 12 or something. That don't help you at all, does it? I'll probably wrap this up in about hour and a half, 2 hours. But that, you know, better than nothing. That's as long as some people come on and have a chat, because otherwise we're screwed. Right, how do I get it back to the comments? 73 people, lovely. I'll try and get all the LOs in. I do tend to miss. John dropped £2 in. Nice one, John. Much appreciated. What's happened there? I will get that that QR code thing up. Can you hear all the goings on outside, or does my mic? Does my mic cover that? Can you like the stream, people, while I'm pissing around doing nothing? That'll be handy. Right, that's good. I got that there. Got that there. I'm not on an Ethernet cable as well, so let me know if it starts jerking. Why is that funny? Right, here, I'll put the invite in the chat. If you want to come in for a little chat. If I chuck you out, it won't be because I don't like you. It'll be because it'll be nice to get a few people in. But towards the end of the stream, Anglo's dropped another 10 in ribeye tokens. I'm going to be honest with you, Anglo. The days of ribeyes daily, because of the house fund, I'll probably half of that will go on ribeyes. But when the missus asked me what I wanted to eat, and she does this lovely fried rice with like beef in it, and I said, why don't we go and get a steak and you can make one of those fried rice? And she said, no, I'll get the cow. Cow, she calls it cow. Fried rice and cow, which I suppose it is though. But I see it in the market hanging up all day long in the sun, covered in flies. Maybe it's the flies that protect it from the sun, like a natural coat, while they're dabbing their little proboscis on it. Much appreciated, Anglo. Oi, Anglo, I'll tell you this. If you ever get out to these parts, there'll be a bedroom in my gaff, the Anglo-Saxon quarter. Because you will have essentially paid for it. Not even joking. Much appreciated. And you, John, and everyone who's kept their memberships going. It really means the world. I will see if you do an entropy. Let's get this out of the way. Super chat at the bottom of the YouTube. Entropy at the top of the YouTube. And apparently there's a QR code there that works if you drag your phone over it. You get a link. Now, that QR code one, if you donate there, they take the less money, and I give you a bespoke. I ever told you bespoke comes from being spoken for. So you'd go in the tailor's and you'd see a nice bit of cloth, and you'll go, oh, that's nice. I don't want a suit made just yet, but in a couple of months, when I've had a few wins on the nags, I'll have one made. So can you? I think a 3-piece suit is about 6 yards of cloth. It's a crazy amount of cloth. So you say, can you cut me 6 yards of that and keep it aside? And then when someone else come in and said, oh, that's a nice bit of cloth, they'd say, sorry, mate, that's been spoken for. And over the years, been spoken. Spoke. Oh, Saviour. The Saviour is here. Hey. Have you had a change of mind, or did you just not get the message?
I didn't know you was on. We were watching Formula One, and then my missus went out. So
You know what? I tell you what. If you want, send me an email, and I'll know, because I have got yours, but I can never find it. Hang on, what was going on there? You've got a bit of a birth.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with my hair, so it just sticks up unless I wet it.
I only stuck a load of, but I did get my hair cut because my girlfriend said I look like someone who lives in the street. I had it all going on. So, how have you been?
I've been alright, but what's been? I've just missed everything because I wasn't here.
Oh, I can't say it all again. Basically, I'm a knackered old man. I'm a knackered. I live with my girlfriend now. Oh. But I work too much. I YouTube too much. I write too much. I don't sleep enough. I overindulge, and I'm old.
And have you been resting up until now at any point?
Sorry?
Have you been resting until today?
No, I never rest. I never rest.
This today?
Well, when was the last stream? Was that 5-hour one?
Like a week ago. Like a week or two ago.
I'll give you the short version. After the sinusitis, after the girlfriend's appendectomy, whatever it's called, and after moving house, I decided to help out the team, lifting like 16, 20-litre bottles of water up 2 flights of stairs.
Then you fell over, and like later that day, you just went and
I didn't even fall over though, and like a whole sort of home gym. But I laid down to go to sleep, and my girlfriend couldn't wake me up for 28 hours, like shaking me, thinking, should I take him to hospital? And when I come out of it, I've been sort of weak and fragile. Anyway, I'll talk to you in private. I'll tell the whole story. So in a few weeks, I'm taking a couple of months off. I'm making a movie. But there's more to that than meets the eye. You can all guess if you wish. But I'm just going to say yes to every guess. Best way of doing it, isn't it? Nice one for that, though, Anglo. I might be able to bribe her, actually, when she goes to that old ready digested fly-eaten market meat. And say, yeah, but the bloke who donated it said we have to spend it on something that hasn't been... I'll tell you what, if you go to the markets out here, like literally like a prepared cow, so it's been gutted and all that. It's hanging up on a spike, 38 degrees. Someone with they have these sticks with a bit of string on it, and they just sit there playing cards, like whipping it. And the flies are well used to it; they don't give a shit. And there's hundreds on it. And when she comes home, I got you some soup, and there's these little bits of very chewy. Yeah, but 6 years out here, never had any food poisoning, never. Anyway, right. So we've all seen Keir Starmer, far right. You know what I'm talking about, right? You can't have missed that. You have missed it, haven't you?
I have. Yeah. What's?
I'm sure the chat hasn't. I'll be absolutely blown away. My mouse doesn't work as well. That's a weird problem. So Keir Starmer, who's got the lowest ever likability or whatever they call it score, and he's only been pretending to be in power for about 6 months. They obviously had some kind of emergency meeting because he's going to get turfed out of the Prime Minister's job, and Labour ain't going to win the next election. They only won this one because people were like, hello, Robert McGregor, nice to see you, mate. Hello, John Enoch. They were like, we ain't voting Tory. That's why Labour won. And they thought, there's a chance that the Homeland Party, Reform even, might likely win. If it's following the open window and the political winds that are blowing in Italy, France, AfD in Germany, Trump in America, they thought we better do something about it. And Starmer give a presentation in front of 2 Union flags. It's like, what? This is Labour. You know, it looks really, it's jarring, you know, seeing a Labour Prime Minister in front of two Union flags. And they're not piddly little things either. It ain't like World Cup, your mother's stuck them on the aerial of her car. They're like Pride of Britain flags, you know, they're huge things. And he says mass immigration was I can't remember exactly, but
he said he's going to stop mass immigration.
Yeah, he says it was an experiment that the British public weren't asked about. They didn't want it, and it's causing us all sorts of problems. And they realised if they want another term, that's the only trick they've got left in the book to completely go against their ideology.
No, they won't.
Let me see if I can find it. I'm sure.
I don't believe they'll. I believe he said it. I don't believe he'll do it for a second. I don't believe it. They'll do anything more than any of the Tories. I believe when they said they were going to stop the boats.
Yes, certainly. I mean, I haven't made a decision on that yet, but the fact that they're even promoting it is just bizarre. It's bizarre.
Well, you've got to say you're going to stop the boats, otherwise no one's going to vote for you.
Well, there you go. Lucy Brown on X said something like, hang on a minute, has Keir Starmer just admitted to the Great Replacement on ITV? Something like that. I don't want to misquote her. Yeah, I've got it. It's so long though. We can have a look at a little bit of it.
Yeah, sorry, I had heard something of it, but I had just disregarded it as another. Yeah, they say that. Yeah, and they're going to close the tax loopholes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're going to do that. Yeah, and they're going to improve the NHS and lower the waiting times. Yeah.
No, but he does go for it though. He admits that it. Hello, Mousecat. Oh, I've got to say something to you as well. Mousecat says Starmer then went on to say he won't put any caps on immigration. Yeah, but you know, there's still the old legal, illegal, and yeah. Look, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that Keir Starmer's the saviour of Western Europe. It's just a funny sort of propaganda angle. Let's see if we can have a look at it a bit. I've got this whole new setup, and my mouse, my fire button tends to double click, but we should be all right. Let us know if there's any echoing or anything, people. I don't want that. I don't want the new layout.
Good afternoon. When we came into office,
I'm just looking at that image, though. I haven't seen a Labour Prime Minister stand like that in front of the Union flag. I don't think ever. You know, the whole cabinet would be going, tear those down, tear those down. Anglo, did you see him in an heavy bag in the gym when he was like donkey punching it? Like, nah. And when his fist actually touched it, he just give it a little nudge. It was so homosexual. Anyway, here we go.
Yes. We immediately conducted an audit of the public finances, and we found a £22 billion black hole.
Yeah, which we're going to pay for. I wonder what caused it. Exactly that, Otto. Nice to see you, Otto.
Now, the Independent Office of National Statistics has conducted vital work on the state of immigration.
And weirdly enough, Laura Taylor done that a few years ago, and she lost all her bank accounts for it.
Found the previous government were running an open borders experiment.
It's amazing.
No.
There you go, Packer. I told you it was worth it. He just said it.
What? Wasn't there another government before them doing that, though?
Well, this is the thing. The Blair government, you know, that... Yeah.
Someone that you knew, Keir. I'm sure you knew him.
Yeah, when you say new... oh, more.
As the ONS sets out, nearly 1 million people came to Britain in the year ending June 2023. That is 4 times the migration levels compared with 2019.
What about compared to Blair?
Time and again, the Conservative Party promised they would get the numbers down. Time and again, they failed.
It's incredible that he said, "Look, look. I can see you, Packy. You're like you can't. You're blown away that he said that, didn't you? An experiment on open borders. He said it.
Ridiculous. It's just like, do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, you're done. That's how I felt
it's
when
like
I
an
watched it. I
Austrian
was like,
painter coming out and saying apparently they was doing away with a
In-
certain lot en masse.
Impotent. Hello, Impo. You new here. Impotent says I have small nuts. I quite like that one for a random opener. Palmer says so. Is that's what Lucy said? Lucy Brown said, wasn't it, John? That's one. John says he's going to do a white paper. Amazing. Process error reckons it's AI. I tell you what, the Kamala Harris AI going around where she's on the piss and farting and all that. That's brilliant. But you'll hear a bit more, Packer, where he says this. He says it. Well, I'll let it run a bit and you'll see. And it's the stuff that we've all been saying. This isn't an accident. This was planned. He says it. I think he's been reading Mark Collette's book or something.
And now the chorus of excuses has begun. We heard that from the leader of the opposition yesterday. But what we didn't hear, what the British people are owed, is an explanation.
Sorry about that, people. Without the Ethernet cable, I can't risk my Mongolian VPN.
Failure on this scale
Hang on.
is what we didn't hear, what the British people are owed, is an explanation.
Hello, Rob.
Because a failure on this scale isn't just bad luck. It isn't a global trend or taking your eye off the ball. No, this is a different order of failure. This happened by design, not accident.
There you go.
Policies were reformed deliberately to liberalise immigration. Brexit was used for that purpose.
He's right.
To turn Britain into a one-nation experiment in open borders.
You know. I mean,
I can't wait. I can't wait till he finds out Jimmy Savile was a wrong 'un. I can't wait to see it. That's going to be amazing, isn't it?
I don't think he'll be Prime Minister by the end of the year, to be honest with you. He's so disliked and has got no... I mean, although, it could be a mad... stranger things have happened in politics, and the Labour Party could turn back into the party of the working people of the United Kingdom and say, this immigration experiment is a net drain on the economy. It's time to go home.
Well, they can't keep who they're relying on, can they? Because who they're relying on they can't keep the voters that they're relying on, because the voters they're relying on are setting themselves up now, starting their own party.
Exactly. Mousecat drops a lady. Why would he think throwing us a bit of red meat might make us start taking him seriously? Yeah, it is very odd. It is very odd, but I think
Don't take him seriously the way he talks. He doesn't.
I think Mousecat, because he's got no alternatives. What else have they got?
I'd just like to say that I wasn't based up at school, and I talk a little bit like Zippy.
Impression's not really your thing.
No.
I've got no idea who that is. Thank you,
him or Zippy from Rainbow. I think
it had a Rainbow. It was a bit like Zippy and George together.
Right. Yeah, if they had,
Right,
a,
where
if
we?
they had a son.
Yeah. Oh, was George female? I don't want to get into that. We'll get you get in trouble. Okay, I'll put the invite in the chat. If anyone wants to come in, you can talk about anything. There's no fixed subjects. I mean, things that people would be interested in is usually quite handy. But there you go. I also want to say to Mrs. Me in it, if she's listening, or if not, Mousecat, can you pass this on? And to Pax Max, like Mrs. Me in it has sent so many lovely things. She sent out her little red velvet box. But she sent out loads of sweets and that for the province kids. And when Pax Max arrived, when I met him, he had a carrier bag. It must have weighed about 3-4 kilos full of sweets for the province kids, and my girlfriend took them all out there. But obviously she doesn't want to just hand them all out, so she puts them in her freezer. And when she wakes up in the morning, there's a queue of like 10 kids outside her room, like from age 3 to about 6. And she gives them all like a couple of sweets. It's very sweet. Well, very exceptionally sweet. Literally sweet, I'd say. So there you go. Yeah, what a peculiar thing to happen. I mean, I never saw that coming, not at all. But it's going to make conversations very strange from here on in. Have you been checking out American politics? I mean, okay. Before we get there, I'm going to drop this one in. I'm not a financial advisor. The stock market is gambling. Your capital is at risk. You can lose it all. I called Palantir. I called that 2 years ago. I've had over 15 scrubs write to me and thank me very much for the life-changing money they made out of that. I called NVIDIA. I've also had scrubs thank me for that. I called, obviously, the S&P 500, which is at record highs, and I've had people thank me for that. It's not too late, but for a long-term hold, I'm looking at. Well, I already bought a few SoFi, ticker symbol $SOFI. I bought them at about $7 a share, only like 50. I'm not like this big trader. I don't trade. I'm a long-term holder. That's not a masturbation comment. But that was about 4 months ago, and then currently $16. So they've more than doubled in 6 months. I would suggest SoFi 3 or 4 years will be up $80, $90, $100 maybe. So don't take that as investing advice. But if you're a British citizen, you've got a tax-free investing ISA. Totally tax-free. Everything you make, you don't pay any tax on. So bear that in mind. And my latest tip is SoFi. I put it in the Scrubs lifeboat, of which there's now 3 variations. I noticed. Only found that out today. I haven't answered any of the questions in them because I've just been resting. So apologies, people. I did see a load of that, so I will get round to it. Same with the emails. But and there's another one, and the ticker symbol is CAKE. So $CAKE. It's an American company called the Cheesecake Factory. And it's like a place where you go to eat cheesecakes. Now, I think it was originally a takeaway service, but now they're doing like restaurants where you can just go. I couldn't see it working in England, but it's got America written all over it. Again, it's a long-term hold. I don't think you're going to see any life-changing profits for 2 or 3 years, but that's still not long in the grand scheme of things. If you've got cash sitting in the bank, again, this is just opinion. Do your due diligence. Find out how to value a stock. See if you think it's overvalued or not. And another thing, I put a video on X earlier. If you follow me on X, go and check it out, because a lot of the people there's a lot of people who email me about this investing lark, and they're like, Yeah, but what if the stock market crashes? It's all very well when it's going up, but what if it crashes? I would love the stock market to crash. I'd absolutely love it. Because if the stock market were to crash, I would load up on Amazon, Google, who else? Tesla, Amazon, Google, who else would I get hold of if it crashed? More Palantir, more SoFi, because the way I choose stocks, three things. Do I believe in the fundamentals of the company? Do I trust the management? And do I see a place for that business in the future? Amazon ain't going anywhere. Certainly not for the next 10 years. Nor's Google stroke Alphabet. And Meta. So if the stock market crashed and you could pick up Meta for like $50, I'd be break dancing in the street with an hat in front of me to get coins to stock up on Meta, Alphabet, Amazon, and the other one I said, because long-term investing can cope with a stock market crash, and you're getting bargains because they just go back up again. It always happens. Over 20 years, it's been 100%. 100% of people have made money. There's a saying in investing that dead people make more money than traders, because dead people, if you've been investing and you don't leave a will and you've got no next of kins, when you die, your stocks still appreciate. And so they just keep going up and up and up. They'll go down occasionally. The markets are volatile, but they tend to go up and down on an upward trend. Whereas trading, most people lose money on trading, to be honest with you. Some people get their one lucky break and they dine out on it for the rest of their life and slowly spend it trying to repeat that lucky trade. But yeah, SoFi and Cake are my next two that I'm keeping an eye on. But, look into it. Don't take that as investment advice. La dee dee. Let me see if I can. I think the best. There you go. I think that one's been replaced with Your Capital is at Risk, hasn't it? Yeah. So let's find. I think. Did I show this on the last stream? I am a bit fucked, people, to be honest with you. But I can't not stream. I don't know. When was the last stream?
It's a week, isn't it? You did two at a weekend, like you did two really long ones.
Oh, I moved last weekend. It's got to have been 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
I was starting to worry about you, but I don't want to bother you if you got shit going on,
Well, it's been absolutely lovely. I've seen all the emails that, like you missed it earlier, but people saying, "Are you all right? Are you all right?"
Yeah, I know. I'm sure you get plenty.
Yeah, I've got about 800 emails, well, including work ones, which isn't good. Hang on, people. I've just got to find this Kamala Harris. There's this new AI software. I don't know what it's called, only because I haven't paid attention. I don't know if this is it or not. Give me a second. Let's give it a punt. This might be it, but who did I see it on? Oh, I'll tell you what. We'll go Sky News. They're better. So there's this new AI. If anyone in the chat knows what it's called, let me know. I mean, it's unlike me to be behind on the AI, but because of all what's been going on, I've fallen back, and it's all moving so fast. If you're out of it, if you're out of the loop for a week, that's too long. But there's this new AI. You only need a face, a still image of someone's face, and then you can get it to animate it. Hopefully, this is it. It'll be a little bit embarrassing if it isn't. but not too much. Please don't forget to like the stream, people, even if you don't like it.
Mouse Cat says, is
You
it
know.
Claude?
Lovely to see 80 odd people here. What's that, Packer?
Mouse Cat says, is it Claude?
It might be. That sounds familiar, actually. That sounds familiar. It's the Mouse Cat. It's the one with Kamala on the piss and farting and that. I think I might have it here. Let's have a look and see. Oh,
Or is it for herself?
I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you.
right. That ain't the AI one. And I'll tell you what. I saw. What's her name? That Kasparian bird who's still on the Young Turks.
Just want to say,
Anna,
Chris,
yeah,
Anna Kasparian, yeah.
yeah,
After this, yeah,
yeah.
you just stopped talking and your head went down. And then
No, it didn't. I'm not buying that. No way. That's well out of order. No. Someone's going to clip that. No, they won't. Not important enough. She was on Piers Morgan. Can we just agree that every American who goes on Piers Morgan's show Uncensored calls him Pierce? And he hasn't corrected one of them. All of them call him Pierce. Well, the thing is, Pierce, why doesn't he just say it's Piers? Anyway, she was on there yesterday. She's blatantly grown up. She's matured in herself and politically. And she even said on that show yesterday that she's not left or right. That's the start. That's the start of moving to the right. Once you denounce the left, there's only one direction to go. I was quite shocked by it, actually. I think she's having a bit. I mean, imagine working with old Chunk still with all that going on. Anyway, hopefully, that's the reason I told you that was because Anna Kasparian. Let's take it back a bit. Anna Kasparian said after watching this video. She said it felt like she was in a bar with one of her best mates, like at closing time, and her mate's just going to her, "Don't ever let them take your power away. You've always got." Yeah. Like, check out Kamala, and whatever I think about Anna Kasparian, she nailed it.
Or is it for herself?
I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th.
No. This is patently not true. But, carry on lying.
And you have the same purpose that you did.
Yeah, but you look about 500 years older.
And you have the same
tits. Is that where you're going with those? What are they called? I can't remember.
ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you.
So drunk. Well, I'm not judging that, but
Where's the joy? Yes, it does feel like she's repeating a mantra to herself in the mirror.
Oh, and here we go. Now we've got Sharon Stone. Oh, what a touch finding this. Sharon Stone was at a film festival in Italy, and she starts lecturing the Italian people. I think it's Italy. We'll find out how wrong I've got that. About fascism. And likening Donald Trump, I mean, I know they do anyway, the left, but you can imagine all those are, well, let's let it roll. It was shocking. It was embarrassing. And I know she's old now, Sharon Stone, but she's got like a demonic kind of, she's demonic. She looks like she's possessed. She looks like she's about to say something naughty about his Lord and Savior. It's her head's going to do a couple of 360s. Check it out.
Actually applies to her and her ilk.
My country is in its adolescence.
It isn't.
Adolescence is very arrogant. Adolescence thinks it knows everything. Adolescence is naive and ignorant and arrogant.
We call that projection.
We are in our ignorant, arrogant adolescence.
What? The best republic, the best nation in the world that everyone wants to go to. It's a ridiculous thing to say.
We haven't seen this before in our country. So Americans who don't
Hang on, you don't stop banging on about slavery. All of a sudden, it's been paradise until Trump turned up.
travel, who 80% don't have a passport.
They don't travel. Maybe they don't want to. You don't have to travel if you don't want to. What a weird cuss. They don't travel, you know.
Yeah,
Who
surely
are
that's
uneducated.
that's a sign of living in the greatest country in the world, isn't it?
They like it there. They
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like traveling, but I've had plenty of conversations with people who say, I'm not into it. And it's just like, well, that's all right. Rollo's coming on.
All right.
Hang on, let's see if we can sort it out. For some reason, Rollo. Oh, hang on, Rollo. Let's pause the video and see what Rollo's got to say. Oh, hang on, I fucked it right up. Hello, Rollo.
Hello, Scrubs. Hello, everyone.
Rollo, have we actually seen you in person before?
About 2 years ago.
You can't expect me to remember more than 6 or 7 days, so we'll call that a no. Now, are you doing some kind of drain cleaning or fire service work?
This is a Just Eats coat. People take the mick out of me at work. Say, when's my food coming? But hey, it's waterproof, windproof.
Hang on, it's a what coat?
You know that food delivery you get, like the Albanians that come on motorbikes around you.
I must admit I don't, but I know what you're talking about, obviously. Hang on, so do you work for them or you just like the coat?
I don't like the coat. I work for them now. Turkish lad I know gave them to me. He's since died. It's a long story.
And you wear it out of respect?
No, because I'm doing mucky work. I'm just cutting some firewood for the log burner. It's me
I see. So you wear your Just Eats coat? Yeah.
It's
Rollo.
drizzling. It's not drizzle, you know. Can you see me all right? I'm in the middle of shots.
So yeah, you're doing great, man. You're looking great. You've got your headset on? You're outside there. The sound's good. The image is good. It's just been perfect.
Excellent.
What's going on in your mind, Rollo? What brought you onto the stream?
I don't know. I last time I came, I was really shy. I didn't know what to say, but this time, I'm still not sure what to say. But it's been
that's all right.
It's been an incredible time in the UK, like with everything going on.
It has. Let's go back to what you're doing. So you've got a wood burner in your house, have you?
Well, yeah. It's just cheaper to heat the kitchen and do baked potatoes because I've got loads of scraps from my work, you know.
You should have just lied and said, yeah, it's a nice old Arga.
Oops, shit, I just dropped my phone. Oh, oops.
Yeah.
It fell off. No, it's a Bulgarian sort of cheap thing off eBay.
Well, does it work?
Yeah, it's fine, yeah. I can show you in a minute.
Wonderful.
I'm not trying to
you went down that road, didn't you? You got into wood burning when we had all that winter fuel scare lark.
Yeah, I've still got the wood burner sat in my backyard. Yeah, I'd done it all up and it was ready to go. But I didn't fit it.
I was about to say, by the look of your response when I mentioned it, it didn't get off the ground, no?
No, I still got it though.
Yeah, but does that count?
Not really.
Well,
I'm gonna ask Rollo. Rollo, does having it in your back garden and
no, that
all the
don't
wood
count. Obviously, that don't count.
I suppose you could plant things in it like a feature, like a garden feature, but
there you go. That's an option because that does happen to things like that, doesn't it? People end up. I remember my next door neighbour brought some lovely chimneys, and he reckoned he was going to sell them on eBay. They were like proper old, sort of 100-year-old chimneys, and in the end, his missus just filled them up with peat and like used to grow gladioli out of them or something.
I built a summer house in the house I used to live in the garden of the house I used to live in, and I put a log burner in that, inside that.
Are you trying to rebalance the scales of getting things
Well, I
done?
might do that with this one.
Get your flu in
What
first, eh?
seriously, Packer? Why didn't you get round to it? Just
Because the way my chimney stack is laid out is the chimneys are next to each other instead of back to back. So both of them are in my kitchen, right? So to keep the one in my living room for the log burner means I've got to keep one in my kitchen. But what I really want to do is knock them both out of my kitchen and put my cooker there.
Rollo, does that make sense to you? A man who knows his wood burners?
In a roundabout way, kind of. I'm not really sure.
I've got central heating, so I don't need a log burner or a gas fire in the living room, especially if it's going to stick it out into my kitchen and fuck it up.
I was impressed when you started talking, when you first got it though. So you've lost 10 points, but you're at about 45 million. So I think you're going to be all right. I remember me and my missus when I was about 16 and I knew everything, stroke, nothing. And, you know, we didn't have a pot to piss in and there was like a real fire there. It had like toy cars and some other bits and bobs in it. And I said, why we don't need, we had one of those little sort of fan radiators that unless you're like within 6 inches of it, it doesn't do anything. So we went out, got a couple of pallets, chopped them all up, put them in it, knew nothing about cleaning chimneys or what, yeah. Set it alight and that, bit of lighter fluid, get it going. The fire engines, the lot came. It just set the chimney on fire because apparently. Go on, Rollo, tell us what happened because I think partially burnt wood kind of sticks to the inside, doesn't it? And it just the whole house went up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you burn wet wood, can get a creosote problem, which can build up, and then the creosote itself catches fire. And then, of course, if you've got a chimney that's not being used for years, the blackbirds and the jays will put nests in it.
Which is like dry wood,
Perfect.
essentially.
Yeah, perfect.
Kindling.
Yeah, exactly.
Our mate Mark, go on. Sorry, Rollo.
Oh no, if the birds don't have a technique. They just keep on throwing twigs down until it kind of fills up, so the chimney can be solid, full of this tinder.
Oh, they don't. They don't know because they don't want to fly down it. They just keep going until it's like 4 inches from the top of the chimney.
Every year they come back, do the same.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's probably what happened because there were flames coming out. It was a proper fire. My friend Mark told me the other week he done the same when he was a student. Same thing, exactly the same story, but their neighbour complained that they could smell smoke. And it turned out that the chimney had been blocked or something deliberately, I don't know, and the smoke was going up. Mark, if you're in the chat, can you just, if you're here, Mark, just here, he's right here. Mark, can you come on and tell us? Come on now, you don't have to show your face because I'm just ruining that story right now. You don't have to, but it would be absolutely lovely. Yeah, essentially, what he was burning was filling the neighbour's house with like not like a little leak, but like what they call it, billowing smoke.
Brilliant. Probably smelled brilliant too.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like you say, if it's got creosote and all that, is creosote like a petrol-based?
No, it's I suppose it's part of the lignin in the wood, in the cellulose. Just a
you know what? I do love the smell of. I love the smell of creosote. It's not a good sign, is it? I also like the smell of Evo stick in a crisp bag. So, Rollo.
Yes.
So a friend gave you a food delivery coat. It's waterproof.
Well, yeah, you know what the Turks are like. They're just always doing deals, buying cars. things off Facebook Marketplace for nothing. You know, gets it cheap, haggles the price down. He was like a Stig. I called him Stig. His place was just rammed full of junk.
Yeah, I know the type.
I felt sorry for his missus. Honestly, she was like Stig's wife. And
well, she would have been exactly that. Was she part of the junk?
Well, she kind of, tragically, he passed away, so that she was left to deal with it all. So she said, "I'm going to do car boots and sell it all." She was driving around in a car for months, just full of junk. It was tragic, really.
Yeah, we've all done the car boot thing where you think, "Hang on, this is easy money. Look at all the stuff we got here." And you the first car boot, you come back, you work it out, and you're 40 quid down after petrol, hamburgers, and all that lark.
Yeah, what we're going to do if
And
we've
you
got
bought half
cash?
of it home.
Yeah, what we're going to do with all this money? Yeah, and what we haven't got any. I remember we had my old man had loads of mortar shells. He was in the mortars in the army, and I thought, oh, these have got to be worth a packet. And a geezer come over and he went, these are mortar, and it was the tips, and they look like a little bullet, but they're like that big and sort of that round. But there's no bullet in it because it's obviously been fired. It's the bit that comes out of the mortar when you fired it. I had about 10 of them, and I thought, you know, they've got to be a tenner each. You know, they were, you know, nice bit of what are they? Brass, nice bit of polished up brass. I've got the old Duraglit on them, and the geezer come over. He knew straight away what they were. I said, give us an offer for the lot. He went, tenner. I was thinking that each. He said, you're joking, mate. He said, I'll be lucky to get 2.5 quid for one of them. I went, really? He went, how many mortar shells do you think there are running around in car boots of this country? I was like, I don't know. This is the first and last I'll be going to. And at the end of the day, we dumped them. You know, at the end of a boot fair, there's a big pile of rubbish where people don't want to take it home. And that, have you not seen that?
No, I was just saying, you could have weighed them in. You would have made your money easy. Price of brass.
Yeah, well, what blew my mind was the various strata of car booters. There were the people who had it right, who were buying stuff, getting good deals, and you know they had people haggling and like, I'll give you a bit more for it. And it was like an auction. You know, these people were making coin. And then there's people like me, beginners, just thinking, why don't anyone want to buy all this rubbish that we don't want either? But at the end of the day, people who were leaving and it didn't work out for them, they didn't want to take that junk home that would stand in their front room reminding them of the terrible day at the boot fair. So it all gets chucked on this big pile. And then when all the cars are driving away, the, what do you call it? I suppose the security or whatever, they give this big crowd of people who are waiting behind a rope, they give them like, this might, I'm assuming this doesn't happen at all boot fairs, but I imagine something like it does. A bloke blows a whistle and they get 10 minutes to get as much. It's like a game show, like you know, supermarket sweep. It was like boot fair sweep. He went, brrr, and they all leg it over. They get these big sacks out, and it's all this shit. I mean, I've got nothing against, you know, I'm a working class man on his arse myself at the moment. But what are they going to do with this stuff that didn't even get sold in the last hours of a very busy boot fair? What are you going to do with it? Probably sell it to some Turk.
Possibly.
So hang on. How did you get the coat?
How did you get the coat?
You didn't actually tell us how you ended up with Eddie the Turk's coat.
His name was Serkan Muruk or something. And he was good. His girlfriend is best friends of my wife.
I was an Eddie. No, I didn't guess correctly the first time. No, sorry.
So they're just been family friends.
Can you speak up a little bit? It might be me actually. I might shut my volume a bit low.
I think there's a microwave on these, microphone on these headphones, but it's not picking up very well.
I wish you'd have stuck with microwaves so much. Right, go on. No, it was me. My volume was down too low. Right. What was his name? You glitched a bit.
Serkan.
Serkan the Turk.
Yeah.
Right.
From Ankara.
He's no longer with us.
No, tragically, he died of COVID allegedly.
Rough,
Tragic.
justice. Oh, yeah, I see a thing the other day, people. I saw it on X, and I can't back it up in any way whatsoever. But a bloke said, if you've had 3 boosters, go and have an AIDS test. You might be surprised. Anyone in the chat see that or hear anything about that? I mean, it sounds a
No.
little bit, but who knows? If you're looking to control the population, jabbing people up. Anyway, sorry, Serkan the Turk died tragically. Rest in peace, Serkan. I'm not taking the piss out of him. I just want to know how you ended up with his coat.
Well, no, he just know I work outside all the time, and he came with 2 Just Eat coats, brand new, with the labels. He said, "Do you want these, my friend?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll take them."
Do you know where he got them from?
Oh, I don't know. He was delivering pizzas around Worcester for years, so he'd go through people's gardens, come back with push bikes. God knows, he was in the underworld.
You know that's called thieving. That's robbery, going through people's gardens and coming back with push bikes.
We did tell
If
him.
you're Turkish doing it in Europe, it's just pillaging, isn't it?
Well, we did tell him that people leave their kids' bikes in the front yard sometimes. They're not like neglecting them, but you know, it was just like that. So it's one of those tragic things. Our guests are just they behave a bit differently, you know.
They don't care.
No.
But you liked this fella. He was a mate, was he? Amazing that you're actually thinking about it.
I had a mutual respect for him. We had nothing in common. You know, he was a completely different culture. We were the similar age, but you know, there's me.
How
Rollo.
did you meet him?
He was the boyfriend of my wife's best friend.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because usually, go on, Packer.
If he rung you up at 2 a.m. and said, "Will you meet me in the woods with a shovel and a hacksaw and some carrier bags and some gaffer tape," would you go and meet him?
Hypothetically, no. That's just no.
You're not that much of a mate then.
To his credit, I've got to say, my stepson, my wife's son, he wasn't in trouble, but we needed to find him in the town one day. And Serkan was out doing his pizza deliveries, and we gave him a heads up, and he went looking for him, and he found him. You know,
Serkan had a bit of tracking abilities.
Well, those pizza delivery boys in cities, they know where everybody and everything's going on.
Know the manner. There you go. So I just want to point something out. I've done a lot of streams with Packer, but when he made that suggestion to you, and this is to you as well, Packer, you watch this moment back because you had 2 very strange twitches. When, as you said that, you went, I can't remember it exactly because I wasn't listening, but you went, if he rang you up at 2 o'clock in the morning with a spade, a bag, and it was really weird. I mean, I didn't exaggerate it for a fact. No, I liked it. I think Rollo did too. Where were we, Rollo? So he was your wife's best mate's husband. So would the 4 of you go out drinking and that?
I wish. No, it was all because you probably know already. My wife's Eastern European, so it was always dinner at home. Pub culture's not really something they do.
And I don't wish you to dox any further unless you wish to. But was it all the pickles and that kind of Eastern European fare?
Yeah, sometimes they are involved.
And a lot of weirdly, a lot of freshwater fish. I mean, I went to a Polish dinner once, and she brought out this massive fish on a plate, and I thought, "Is that
carp,
carp?" Yeah, there you go. I just there. I thought, "Is that carp?"
I find it weird that the monks in England made the processing of carp into a fine art. They put them into a pool of running water and keep them for, I don't know, weeks on end with no food to flush all the soil out of the carp.
You're absolutely right, and that's what she done. Not that far, but she said once you've hooked it out of that dirty old lake, they put it like a she used to put it in a little kids paddling pool with just clean water, so that, but it still tasted like silt.
Mud. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're real filthy fish.
There was no getting rid of that. And when I said to her, I said, you know, I sort of was polite, and I was like, I said, it's still a little bit sort of, you know, very sort of, I didn't want to say mud. And she said, yeah, that's why you eat the pickles with it. I said, so you disguise the main meal with the nice food, and that's just your nutrition, essentially. Ever eaten a freshwater fish packer? Pete, I scrubs in the chat. Let me know what freshwater fish you've eaten, because here's another weird one. I've eaten pike. I used to fish for pike. Just disgusting. I didn't get as far as bones in my mouth. It was just, no, it stunk to high heaven. But that might have been the person cooking it. It wasn't like an Eastern European. It was someone who caught it out of Dartford Lakes. I think he cooked it with a blowtorch. Anyway, look, Mark obviously doesn't want to come on, and that's absolutely fine. It's not everyone's cup of tea. But there you are. That's what happened. The chimney, you remember the old terraced houses? My mum's was like it. The chimney, the lofts are all open.
Yeah.
Me and my brother used to walk along 3 or 4 houses, lift the loft hatch up. If there was no one in, we'd lower ourselves into other people's houses, sit watching their telly and that, and then going through their fridge. Yeah, you could walk up. We only had one person one side of us, but we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 people the other. So we had a choice of 9 houses. We got caught a couple of times as well. But one fella who caught us, we were in his house, and we were only kids. We weren't like, let's rob him blind. You know, it was just a bit naughty. And I mean kids, like 9 and 7 or something. But after he caught us and had a right go at us, and like, you know, it was one of those sort of, I'm not telling you off, but that's very disrespectful, and I'm going to tell your father, and that bit's like, oh, don't, please just, everything's fine apart from telling me, old man. But about 2 weeks later, he's come round the house. Can you get in my house? I've locked myself out. And my brother's got, it's very disrespectful to do that, which is not a bad comeback for a 9-year-old. But here you go, yeah. So Mark done the same as me and my missus when we were young, just set the fire off. And I think he said they had it burning for like a few weeks, but the chimney, you know, it obviously been stopped, and it was just filling the loft, and it was making its way into their house.
I mean, that's something you do when you put a log burner in, is you sort your flue out first.
And it does that involve? I think he told me that they did buy. Look, he said, "No way, he ain't coming on." But I think he told me they did go and get one of those, you know.
Flue liner.
Cleaning it's not the same as making sure that there's an opening in the chimney, is it?
No. But so, I do it professionally with a fireplace company, and the body that they're registered with is called HETAS, and they're quite strict on the rules of flue diameters and flue liners, and
rightly so, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the stories you're telling me, I've never come across, because we're not like that.
Yeah, it makes sense. So hang on, so you work in, this is so strange, you do work in that game as well?
Yeah, I'm a builder.
Okay, but so you do building work for a firm that deals with fireplaces and all that?
Yeah. I'm a subcontractor, so I float around the different companies around.
So how much didn't it cost you to install your log burner?
Me?
Yeah.
I think it cost about 300 on eBay with the flue liner.
Flue liner?
You did everything else yourself?
It's like a pipe like this, about that round. It's made of stainless steel, 901 stainless.
Oh, 901 stainless, high yield?
I couldn't tell
I
you
know a
that.
little bit about metal because of my business. We use 301 high yield.
Maybe it's 301. Anyway, so is this
Yeah, I haven't heard of 901 to be honest with you, but
301. Anyway,
it might be. I don't know. But,
it'll be cut to the right length, the right diameter for your particular fire. How many ever kilowatts your fire is producing, and the length.
what you're trying to say is it fits and works.
Yeah, because obviously if you have a chimney.
Ted, who comes on here, he sells fireplaces for a living. You know, the really fancy ones.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, the sort of like big marble bit with, but some of them are gas, but you know, the fake ones. But I think I think he sells real ones as well.
Oh, cool.
So, Rollo, next question: what are you lighting yourself with? Because it looks like a spotlight or something.
Yes, yeah, so my working lamp.
Your working lamp.
Is it too bright?
Is
It's
that
dark outside now. Look,
no,
dark,
no. It works fine. It's working great. I can't believe how well you come on. Your mic works. Your camera works. You're well lit. You know about fire.
For an outside broadcast, which is what it is, Chris, isn't it? I mean, it's absolutely tip top.
Yeah, I missed that.
My phone's charging up with the Begita battery. Can you see that?
No, you're just out of shot, mate. To the right a bit. No,
sorry.
You don't need to apologise for anything. You're 9 out of 10 so far. JP wants Mark on. Look, he's screaming for him. So hang on.
Yeah, go on.
When are you chopping logs with logs? Sorry, we started talking about 301 steel. Are you chopping logs with an axe, or are you using that Makita there? Is that a chainsaw?
It's a battery chainsaw because I don't want to disturb the neighbours with my husky.
No way. So what? Is it quiet?
Oh, very quiet. Yeah.
Can you turn it on? Can you do it? Don't hurt yourself though. Live on my stream. I'm not too bothered about your hands or anything, but I'd probably lose my channel.
Can you see that now?
Well, that's working.
No, I'll do it now.
Yeah. Oh, I bet the neighbours don't give a shit about that. Fucking hell, nearly give me a migraine.
If I don't want to be revving up a 2-stroke Husqvarna like on a Saturday afternoon.
In fairness, you're right. I used to have a 2-stroke KX80, and I had a friend who lived 4 roads away from me, and on a Sunday morning, I'd want to warm it up before we went down the Thames, and those 2-stroke engines, he used to know that it was time to go out 4 roads away, and he'd sort of walk round. And no, he wouldn't. He didn't walk. He had a trials bike that was rubbish because it went about 20 miles an hour. But yeah, noise.
Went the trials
hang on.
Yeah, go on.
No, go on. What did you say about trials bikes?
Weren't the trials bikes in the 80s like 4-strokes?
I don't know anything. All I know about trials bikes is they're good for being on Kickstart, the kids program. Hello, love. Have you got a question for me, or you just want to kiss? 1 second.
That's all right. So, Packer, finally.
What?
And Scrubs. I've been in the shadows watching this channel for years. Sometimes making comments. Oh, you're back, Chris.
You haven't been in the shadows. You're an OG scrub. Everyone knows Rollo Vaughan.
Yeah. But actually, I haven't got anything really intriguing to talk about, really.
No. Your comments are always great. No issues here. And as Packer said, not only it was your sound, video, and lighting amazing, it's an outside broadcast as well. I think you're missing a trick. I think you should be one of those, what do they call them these days?
Influencer?
No, not quite that bad.
Content creator?
No, not that good. Citizen journalist.
Citizen journalist, yeah.
There you go. They go out to riots and things, don't they? And go up to people and go, and when they say I'm a citizen journalist, the person they're interviewing just fucks off. Anything else you want to share with us, Rollo, before I let you go? Yeah, go for it.
Well, my
No
family and I,
rush.
we live in Herefordshire, and it's lovely here. And last weekend we went down to London to collect something.
It's not nice there, is it?
No. Well, my wife set her out on a kitten in East London somewhere, but because we were making the long trip, we went right to the centre and parked our car on the south bank. On the
50
south
quid
bank.
an hour.
No, it wasn't. No. Just use an app called Just Park, where you can park in people's parking places in front of their
That's it.
flats.
I know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Cost £7
Very
all
good.
day, a bargain, right next to the National Theatre.
You know what? That is a bargain. There's an NPC on Brewer Street, Soho, and no joke, it's about 6 years ago when I was living there. It was about, I'm sure someone in the chat can confirm this, it was about a bullseye an hour. You're looking at 50, 60 quid to park in Soho. Yeah. Ridiculous. You can kind of understand it though. It's a lovely building, that old NPC or NCP, whatever it is. But if you got rid of it, you could put some kind of retail there, or you could probably put a nightclub there. You're going to be making money. So I suppose it's just the basics of commerce, isn't it?
But saying that, the land's probably owned by one of the dukes of somewhere or other. So
Yeah,
whoever
it's
bought the land we've been leasing it for a fortune. So wherever the NCP's paying a peppercorn rent is still earning profit.
Hang on, you got very quiet there. Rollo, I'm going to just do some super chats because otherwise they get out of context.
I'll say goodbye then, everybody.
No, you don't have to go. Yeah, if you want to, you can, but you're free to hang around a bit longer if you want.
All right.
Yeah, no problem. Mousecat dropped another lady. He says, why would he think? Oh no, we've had that one. Anglo drops another Ayrton. A bit random, but will Trump pardon the January 6th lot, Chris and Packer? And we'll open that to Rollo, who obviously joined after that. Nice one, Anglo. We'll start with you, Picard. What do you reckon is going to happen there?
Yes.
So the insurrection.
Yes, he's going to pardon them. Yes.
Rollo,
yes.
any thoughts?
Those that didn't break windows and cause any criminal damage, break any other laws, those that were just let in and wandered around, all of them, yeah.
If you broke a law, it might be like 2 weeks on remand and not 8 years for insurrectionism. That's what troubles me. And I saw a thing the other day, and it's all coming out now that there was something like 20 FBI officers there who were telling people to go. I mean, I haven't followed the ins and outs of it, but they caught the camera. So do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
this has always been on the cards. The FBI, they were asking the head of the FBI years ago if there were any agents infiltrated within the crowd outside the Capitol on January the 6th, and he was just sitting there going, "I can't answer that." Well, why can't you answer that? Is it because you don't know? Or because you can't tell us because it's part of an ongoing investigation into the insurrection?
Rollo, have you been following the insurrection and the imprisonments?
How could you avoid it?
Well, living in Cambodia with a bird after your age.
Well, I think the media spin on it has been so mad that people are polarised, aren't they, in America? Because you got the what do we call them? The Democrat types are saying, "Oh,
what do we call them? They've kind of been forgotten, haven't they? What was that other party called?
But they were going, "Oh, people died. People died." One person died, and her name was Ashley Babbitt, and that was tragic. And she was
old dear.
Yeah, that was not rioting but merely protesting, shot by an agent. Tragic. So the spin's just out of control. And if Trump was to pardon people, what would the fallout be from that? Because remember,
because then there's a further investigation. You can't just say these people are innocent without saying why. And so then that's a proper can of worms. I agree with Packer. Sorry, Rollo, I didn't really let you finish your answer. So do you think they'll be let out, or do you think the problems that you've just said suggest they might not?
Well, I hope they do, personally, but I think it'll be difficult for them, won't it? Because of
Yeah,
what
horrible.
they're alluding to now.
I saw one bloke. I didn't see him, but I read the article, and he said he's holding on for a Trump pardon, which is weird because in my house, Trump meant fart, and when you trumped, my mum used to say pardon. So it's all getting a bit weird, like lyrically. I think.
What about other things that we were expecting, like the Epstein list and the things like that?
I think there's things like that, you know, they help during your campaign, but it could cause him more problems. I think Trump's got to be careful this time not to get distracted. Yes, it would be nice to see it, but maybe leave that to the last month of his term. Do you know what I mean? Do what he said he'd do. Sort out the southern border, sort out the economy, sort out stopping spending money on wars that certain countries are never going to win. And have you seen the amount of companies that are just jacking their DEI? Like loads of them are just releasing things. We've decided that we've had enough of this experiment and we're not going to fund it anymore. It's incredible.
Salty Cracker said today that Zelensky has aired the idea that he's willing to...
Packer. Seriously, tell the story, but be a little bit less specific because it is in the terms of service.
Okay.
But you can still say it. No, you're right.
No, you can imagine the rest to give concessions where before he refused.
It's a tricky one because Trump's got to make it look like they both won. Yeah. They both won. But
that's the art of the deal, huh?
Yeah, there you go. That you've nailed it. It absolutely is. And I'll tell you what, I pulled off something very similar myself today. Not at that scale, in fact. I mean, the thing is, though, one side of that has got history in that region. You know, it's fucking complicated, man. I think the thing that Trump's got on his side is right. I think that they cannot be part of NATO. If Trump can pull that off and say you cannot be in NATO and you cannot have any NATO bases in your country, then the other fella might give a little bit because that's all he wanted. He's been warning them for 10 years. You can't keep building these bases that can hit the Kremlin of a long-range ballistic. I just warned you, Packer, and it doesn't get more specific than the Kremlin, does it? Beautiful building, though. Let's be honest. You can pull these things off because I've mentioned it before. There's a book by a French writer called Paul Virilio. Hang on, is that the one? Yeah. He's written a load of good books, actually. He wrote War and Cinema, which is definitely worth a read. It's about propaganda. We've come back to that cycle in this stream. He talks about the moment when they load, Packer, do you know it? Do you know where this one's going? They loaded up a bomber that was going over Germany. It might have even been Dresden, but I think I'm just guessing that. But it had more camera equipment on it than it did munitions, because there's no point flattening a civilian city unless you can show people. There's no value in it. And so what you can when those lads get to sit down together with a fucking cage in between them. I mean, I was thinking about it. Just the security to get them three in a room together would be a logistical nightmare. But I think it would be a question of, this is what will happen. This is what I'm suggesting you do. This is what we say has happened.
Could I throw something out there? Could I throw something out there just a thought?
Of course you can. It's you're the guest.
Okay, so on one hand, you're saying getting them in the room would be difficult, but 4 years ago, during that time when we had that worldwide happening, remember?
I do.
Every leader was singing off the same hymn sheet, Putin included, weren't they? So could we assume they're actually in the same cabal?
Oh, it's a bit of a long shot because weirdly, millions of young men have died. You know, this is the thing that you don't hear. They don't point this out in the Guardian and all these other. You know, millions of young men have died, and it's just ridiculous. And they've been warned for, I think it's over 10 years. Go away from our borders with your missiles. It just ain't on. Stupid, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I these things can be resolved. They can be. I think the reason there was no interest in resolving it before was because it was a money spinner. War's a money spinner, you know. It makes a lot of money for people, a lot of money going over there. I mean, how much of that come back? Like, it's almost like a laundering thing, isn't it?
That's
but
what
you know
what? Wait till Keir Starmer finds out.
Yeah. Right, so it's we'll go back. Anglo, thanks for that donation. So is it a yes or a no from you, Packer? It's a yes, isn't it?
I think he will. Yeah.
Do you think it will be like just one day he's saying there wasn't sufficient evidence and I'm letting them out?
He's setting himself up at the moment to go through the government with a fine tooth comb and scrape out all the scum. Having done that,
he's not going to make the same mistakes he did last time, is he?
No,
I think that's already apparent.
And having done that, the judiciary is then going to do the right thing, isn't it? And look at the evidence again and go, this is nonsense. Because look at all this other camera footage that for some reason no one wanted to look at.
Yeah.
Here's Mrs. So-and-so doing such and such while they just stood there and let her.
And it's a yes from you, Rollo.
I found the whole spin calling it insurrection from the CNBC and Sky. I found that all a bit kind of like overspan it. It was a protest. It was not an insurrection.
Yeah, I mean,
they keep on throwing that word like it holds some weight, but it doesn't really.
They were likening it to. It was like this is this year's 9/11. I mean, apart from the insult to the people that died at 9/11, it's like, no, it wasn't. It was the old Bill leading people through the Capitol building. It's like, yeah, that doesn't strike me as two enemy commercial aircraft being driven into the Twin Towers, but I suppose it's a question of perspective.
Realistically.
Rollo, go on, Rollo. What's your parting shot? I'm going to get someone else on.
Yeah.
I could talk to you all night, but, you know, we have to keep it rolling because I've only got about half hour left. Rollo, is Rollo... I don't want you to dox yourself. Is Rollo your real first name?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Of course. That goes without saying. Well, on your birth certificate, it says Rollo.
Yeah. It was my mum's side. Her dad was Irish. He was a Fitzgerald from Southern Ireland. And great granddad was a Rollo that came over with William, the Norman.
That's lovely, Rollo.
Yeah.
My mum's side are Irish, a few generations back, and the surname was Parnell,
Oh, nice,
and I'd
yeah.
quite if when I have kids, I quite like that Parnell Dangerfield. Problem is, all the do as you like is in their language, a parney is a toilet,
Oh,
and
no, you can't do that.
and you know what kids are like. They're not going to call him or her Parnell. It'll be Parney. And when one of the gypsy kids goes, "You know your name means shit house," that'd be a bit unfortunate, wouldn't it?
Why did your mum
On that-
name you?
Yeah. I mean, you
On
hear
that-
it all the time in Dartford. I'm going for a parney. Go on, Rollo. You had something to say.
When are you going to become a dad, Danger?
Right. When I
Don't put it off.
no, I'm
You'll
not.
never be
I
ready.
have.
You'll never...
I'm not actually. There's a few things that need sorting, and I am going to spill the beans. And I'm taking time off everything,
Okay,
and I'm going to
good
make
lad.
this movie. And when that's done, it will be then. I mean, she's gagging for it. I wake up and she's on me. I'm not even joking.
Oh,
I
best of
wake
luck,
up,
mate.
she's like, I'm like, oh, leave it out. Yesterday, I had my hands behind my head. I said, I ain't moving. I'm doing nothing. I said, if he wakes up, you can have it. And she went, just relax. I went, oh, all right then.
It's too much information for me.
Yeah, it was lovely. Rollo, do you got a bit of that action in your life?
Oh, yeah, of course, I'm married. Is that
Too much
oxymoron?
information for me. Do you have children?
I've got 2 beautiful daughters.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, listen, people, I think it's fair to say Rollo's been an absolute hit. We've gained 25 subscribers while he's been here. It was an outside broadcast with perfect audio, visual, and lighting, and entertaining. Stick a Rollo or an R in the chat. Nice one, Rollo. Let's catch up again soon.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Look after
Cheers.
yourself.
I will.
Would you make a Rollo, Packer?
Brilliant. Brilliant. King Rollo, king of the outside broadcast.
He nailed it. I mean, he's been coming here for years. But 2 years, that's a long time to remember. Right, so thank you for that one, Anglo. That was interesting. John Few says, is Palantir too late? Good question. So for those of you who don't know, Palantir, I'll make it very simple for you. Imagine you're running an house. Imagine you're the housewife. You look after the money. You've got 4 kids. And you've got to take them to their karate clubs, and the other one to the jiu-jitsu. The other 2 like swimming. The old man likes to be taken to the darts on a Wednesday. You got to do the fridge, and all this like. One of them's a vegan, one's got celiac disease. All this like. So there's a lot of planning and all sorts of things that need to be done. And it's very hard to make that efficient. If you're driving here and there and there and there and there, you might if you had the time and the processing power, you might be able to work things out. So on one trip, you can get 5 things done. Essentially, that's what Palantir do. They go into a company, like massive companies, like the NHS, I think, just signed a 500 million contract with Palantir. And I'm telling you now, and I know I've said this before, but I would love the NHS to and they should publish the results of the Palantir onboarding, because I reckon almost certainly they'll say they're overstaffed by about 30%, all that ridiculous middle management. And there'll be a bit where they say, you know that you've got a limited amount of money that goes into it, but an unlimited amount of people using it, if they can paddle across the channel, so to speak. That ain't going to work. That can't be maintained. So Palantir essentially make businesses more efficient. And like in the example of the NHS, Palantir will be able to predict when a bed will become available without needing 10 humans to make 10 phone calls all around the place, and they'll be able to find the nearest one, and all that data will be available just by pressing a button. Right, we need a bed for someone who needs their appendix out. Press a button. Right, you've got an ambulance in that town 5 minutes away from that patient who can get her there, rather than just sending an ambulance from where you are that might be 30 times the distance through all that traffic, blah, blah, blah. The onboarding, because the companies have tried this before, and the onboarding, just getting the data into the system, can take 2-3 years. Palantir are doing it in a couple of months, 3 or 4 months. And they're already saving companies millions. And so that's what Palantir do. They're also patriots. Alex Karp, your classic sort of Elon Musk eccentric CEO, one of the things he keeps saying is, because obviously the American military are one of their biggest customers, and if you can do all that efficiency like with a business, you can also do it with warfare. And he says it out loud. It'll be on CNN, and they'll just say, you know, we'll have the most. You use Palantir, you'll have the most efficient fighting force in the world. And any American in any country in the world gets kidnapped or harmed, he said, we will rain merry hell down on them. We'll seize all their assets, and we will give them generational pain. And you're like, oh, that's how it should be. You can't stick people in cellars for 5 years and demand money. That's all over. Now, Palantir about 3 years ago was about £5 a stock, $5, sorry. This year, I'm not quite sure. I could have. I'll have it won't take too long. Oh, someone's donated to the Buy Me a Beer. I'll have a look at that in a minute. So to give you an idea, in the last 6 months, Palantir's gone up 214%. It's currently $66.95. So John says, is Palantir too late? Again, I'm not trained in the art of financial. What's the word? I don't even know the words. I reckon, as someone who's a long-term investor, that if you're prepared to grab a load and sit on it for 10 years, I think Palantir might be one of, if not the biggest company in the world. It's a very sticky business, because take these businesses that have already onboarded Palantir and they're saving like 500 mil a year. Well, they're not going to get rid of it. And what they're not going to do is, when another company comes along and says, yeah, we can do the same, but for cheaper. And they'll be like, yeah, there'll be all that onboarding again, and you can't prove it until you've onboarded. Now, we'll stick with what we've got. You know what? It doesn't make sense. So the moat that they've got around their business, and how far ahead they are regarding technology, I would say, if you're prepared to sit on it for 10 years, it's not too late. No, it is. People say it's overvalued, but you need to find out how to value a stock. And there's many different ways of doing it. And some people say, this one's wrong, this one's right, blah, blah, blah. But if I had 20 grand now and I didn't have an ISA, a stocks and shares ISA, I'd put 10 grand on Palantir and forget about it for 10 years. And I'd put 10 grand on the S&P 500, or maybe 5 grand on the S&P and 5 grand on the NASDAQ, and then just forget about it. And in 10 years, open it up and retire. But do your due diligence. I don't want to get in any trouble. Your capital is at risk. It is gambling. You can lose everything. But I don't think it's too late for Palantir. Every earnings call is just like, what the fuck? How are you doing this? So that would be my answer, John. John, if you ping me an email, I think I might have said this last time, we can have a chat about this in a different context. But, you know, we're in a very litigious culture, and I don't want to sit here telling people to put their life savings on stocks. Although loads
stock may go down as well as up.
There you go. I don't know. I'm sure someone could have you. Anglo drops another Ayrton Senna. It's a massive hoit to Anglo. Get Rollo to Cambodia to build your house. Oi, Rollo, if you're still watching, that's amazing, actually. He's outside cutting wood. I bet he's got his iPhone there. He's got his headphones on, checking out the stream. Rollo, could you get a firm together? I mean, the air flight would probably cost more than the house, but I mean, the bricklaying out in Cambodia is jokes, man. I mean, because it doesn't need to be as good as British bricklaying, but you know, there's just holes in it where. I have considered that. You know, we haven't got that kind of money, to be honest with you. But if Palantir keeps climbing, Rollo, could you get a team to get a bit of Auf the same pet, Cambodia style? I could certainly keep you entertained of an evening. Well, not me personally.
That'd be hilarious. Nice. A Scrubs Builders.
It could either be amazing or an absolute nightmare, couldn't it? I mean, there is a lot of broken biscuits in this community, and myself being one of them, probably the most broken. But it could work out an absolute treat. What a laugh. Get it all on video. Make it
that
movie.
Could be the filming, mate.
Yeah. And then, where's so-and-so? He went home, couldn't hack it. Doesn't like cobras. Right, nice one, Anglo. 42's on the firm, bless his cotton socks. Did he come with Will? Oh, here we go. We've got into this one, pack up. Oi, Rollo, if you're still listening, 42 wants to know whether Rollo from your great, whatever it was, did he come with William III for the glorious deliverance of 1690? I'm guessing he would have done. I don't know how many times William III came over. I mean, in those days, you couldn't just book a flight, could you? Alexander has dropped a symbolic gesture. Very kind, Alexander. Very kind. Let's see if Rollo answers that.
He doesn't.
Sheila's just left. I didn't get to say hello to Sheila. Hello, Special K on Acid. Oh, I didn't know. Hello, Honey Monster. Hello, Oaks. Oaks, I better say it properly. Hoax. Here we go. Rollo says this. The best tradesmen I know all have children. There you go. There you go. Men unwilling to work away, to be honest. Living out of a suitcase brings problems. Yeah, but when you can get a pad for $130 a month and fill it with young fillies for half of that money, pros and cons. Yeah, but joking aside, if they've got children, I don't really want to be I don't really want to be party to encouraging the breakup of Englishmen's families. Fair play. Special K on Acid said, I can carve a dragon to sit on the roof. Okay, I'll consider it. Mark W said it just might be a freak and keep going up. Yeah, people have said that. I saw, what's his name? Chris Camillo. Mark, if you know, you obviously know about this, Lark. Well, I'm assuming you do. Chris Camillo famously turned 20 grand into 20 million. I think it was 20 million. And he does all his investing using the cultural method, which is pretty much mine. You know, you don't look at fucking PE ratios and all that lark. Business fundamentals, trust in the management, and has it got a place in the future of our culture? And when you turn 20k into 20 million, it kind of works. And that's what he said. I mean, no one knows what's going to happen with the stock market. People were buying Tesla shares at next to nothing, and then a couple of years later, they went up to something like $500, and they sold them and made millions. Eleanor said that Otto said something useful. I'll have to find that. That's it, Jimmy Nail. Jimmy Nail was one of the Alfie the Same Pet lads, wasn't he? And he after the acting career, he got into his singing career. Crocodile shoes, crocodile shoes. That's all I know. The two words of the name of the song.
There was that other one. She's lying, wasn't it?
Oh, that was amazing. Everyone at my school just used to crack up at that. Yeah.
I don't want nobody else.
She's lying.
She's lying. Thought I'm going to slap her when I get in.
Could you do an old house though? The thing, you know what, Mouse Cat? I know you've got decades in flooring. I spoke to an architect friend of mine. He was at the Architect Academy in Central London for 6 years. Like, you know, he charges hundreds of thousands for designing houses, millions, in fact, sometimes. And he said he'd do it for me. And I said, I was thinking, blah, blah, blah. And he got back to me a week later and he said, look at all those traditional Cambodian architecture. He said, why do you think their roofs are shaped like that? Why do you think? And he kept pointing out things, and it's all about the heat. You know, there's a reason, because heat rises and you want it to go up in the ceiling, but you don't want it to get trapped there because it just makes its way down. But that's why the walls don't hit the roof. There's like a gap there. Now, yes, spiders, snakes and geckos let themselves in there. But, you know, I've sat in houses out in the provinces in like 30, 38, 40 degrees with a dear little fan on the ceiling. But the design of the house over the thousands of years that, you know, Cambodia has been... You're right, love. Closing the curtains. You're joking, darling. The football's on in a minute. No, you cannot. Joy can hear when I'm watching the football. They don't know.
Are you saying they know what they're doing, Chris, and you don't really need us out there fucking out?
No, I'd absolutely love to have Mouse Cat come out and put a nice bit of flooring in, but I'd rather it be an holiday for him and just have a few nice nights out with him and Mrs. McInnes rather than grafting. But
that's really what he wants. That's what he wants, Mouse Cat. He wants a couple of nights out with you and your missus.
And my missus. Well, no, I'll tell you.
That's what you mean, isn't it?
Like, so much. The things that they've done for me, the things that she sent me, the things she sent for the kids in the provinces. They're such lovely people. But I'll tell you what, Mouse Cat. Not all, but most Cambodian floors are tiled, obviously, again, because of the heat. You know, I've never seen a carpet or a rug in Cambodia. It's quite nice, actually, in the morning, getting up and you tread on those cold tiles. You know what? That might be a business, actually, because they're not very good at it. They're not great at it. Right, let me just, I was just trying to check out some of the, hello, Baz, nice to see you. Baz isn't here. 42 says, Rollo, A, we need to talk, and B, you know, you have a direct line to the forming of modern England. I would, you know what, 42, lovely to see you, by the way, mate. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if Rollo did know that. The kind of character I've found him out to be tonight, he'd probably go, yeah, that's right, I'm aristocracy. Hang on a minute. Was your other? Yeah, 42. Thanks for that, lady. Also, I'm if anyone's donated with entropy, it would appear to have crashed. So give me a couple of seconds because I don't want someone to have done that and it not worked. So I'm just gonna, and someone has donated using that QR code. So I need to thank them as well. Stream already exists. No, continue with that one. That's so weird. Why is that not working? Maybe if I put it on manual alerts. Don't know what that means. Don't know what that does. I can get rid of that now. I wonder if it doesn't show. Sorry, people. I know. Oh, a few sights and sounds has tested my QR code, which is another way of saying made a donation. You'll get your bespoke. It's about 20 seconds. They don't give you a lot of time, but I'll do you a nice little video. Thank you for that after the stream. A few sights and sounds. Thank you very much. It's weird because I can't see it on the screen. Usually I'll get back to the point at it. But anyway, thank you for testing that out and obviously supporting me on the back. LC350, Hoyt to you. I don't know if he's still at it. I imagine he is, but he got into a bit of lock picking. I sent him a few extra bits, and every email after that was him saying, "I love this lock. Bought a new lock today. Done this. Got this. Those spore pins are this. That counter rotation. That amazing. I love it. I love it when someone gets into lock picking. It's very meditative. Nice one, LC350. A Prasha Canatu. Yeah, I think we're probably, I mean, it's always a budgeting thing, isn't it? But building house, I've read so many nightmares, you know, they just don't turn up. And it's not because they're lazy, but they don't have that. That's not how they work. You know, some days they might just think that's too hot. And you can't guarantee things getting delivered. The society isn't structured like that. I mean, Phnom Penh is, but you get out to the provinces and say, right, I need you all here tomorrow morning because all that timber and concrete's turning up and it's going to get poured and we need to get the footings, right? And if you're not here, that's all fucked. And then
I don't even know what your supply of materials is going to be like. I don't know why there's any reason why it would be like it is here. You might have to wait months for certain materials. If you're getting concrete, I mean, have you even looked into that?
I'll tell you what I've been looking into. I've been looking into that. Have you seen that 3D printing concrete house building?
No.
It's right. I'll find a little video of it. It's quite remarkable. If anyone in the chat is aware of what I'm talking about.
I mean, how much concrete are you going to want to get and where are you going to want to get it to get poured?
I know
might have a bearing not only on the cost, but on whether or not they say, yeah, we'll have it there whenever you like, or no, you're going to have to wait a week or a month. Or
the thing about the provinces, you can kind of do what you want.
So
I mean, in the provinces, you've got like 30 houses.
You just go into the cost then.
You've got like 30 houses all facing different ways. Some new, some made out of like sheets of metal, some made out of wood, some like 100 years old, some, and you know, they've all just been thrown up. And then you've got to drive 20, 30 miles till the next little sort of 30 houses. So, and you know, if you've got a little bit of this, and I mean a little bit is more than they've got. You know, a builder out here, like a bricklayer or whatever, is probably on about $5 a day. So what you're saving on labour but look, it's a bit crazy because all I read on the expats forum was buy a ready-made, you know, even if it's an older one, or even if it's a lot smaller than what you want, you can add to it with time as you get a bit more money. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's just like a 1-bedroom on poles on stilts, you've got to have it on stilts. You need some balls to live on the ground floor in the provinces. Really, I'm not joking. It's here. Have a look at this. They're 3D printed concrete houses. It's a couple of minutes video, but I haven't seen this one, but I know that it's one of those videos because there's something quite satisfying about watching them. Whether they've got this kind of technology out here, I don't know. But you get your concrete house built in a day, like a couple of hours. Here we go. Let's have a look at this.
My name is Ahmed Hussein.
So that property has been programmed. An architect's done the drawings. That's been coded into the computer, which powers that thing. I mean, this is obviously a demo. Well, I'll let the bloke who actually knows what he's talking about explain, shall I?
And I am the director of 3D printing at Alquist. Here at Alquist, we focus on printing homes that are affordable in the community and for the people in the area. We range between 1,500 square feet and 1,300 for our single family. We use large-scale construction 3D printers to be able to create affordable housing in rural and unserved areas. So when we arrive on site, we typically work on a slab or a ribbon footing, and what we do is we set the printer up around where the house is going to go. We typically have around 5 or 6 pieces of equipment, and that is printer, and we also have a control panel to operate and monitor the print settings. Then on the material side, we have a silo which holds the dry material, and directly below that we have a mixing system and a pumping system. The water is added in that process.
I've got a pumping system.
Process and pumped through a hose, which then
the pumps through a hose. Come on, cut me some slack.
Feeds the printer material.
Look at that.
This process isn't very different than a typical desktop 3D printer. What you do is you start your design stage, and
you get the idea. We'll move it on a little bit though, because look, you've even got your cavity wall insulation that you might think you don't need, but it also keeps the heat out.
Object. That's what the machine sees, and sees a bunch of those over and over and over again to complete the house. The 2 rails, if you will, those provide your outer bounds for your wall, and so in that middle portion is where you can run.
There'll be none of that fiberglass, rock wall, or whatever it is. Not at all.
Electrical, your plumbing. In a sense, we are like a framing company. However, we're much more of a hands-on system where we construct all the walls and then we guide the GCs to install the doors, windows, HVAC, and plumbing systems. You're doing the house and you have to leave cavities for your 2 doors. What happens is it kind of splits that house into 2 wall sections, left of the door and right of the door. And what it'll do is it'll do that wall section. It'll lift up, go to the other side of the door, and you complete that other wall section. And then once you're at the top of the door, what we do is we add I refer to it as a manual support. And so what we do is we add a steel lintel.
There you go. What'd you make of that, Packer? Seen that before?
Brilliant. No, I haven't seen that before. Yeah, fantastic. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I mean,
it doesn't have to be cement there either, does it?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
It won't have to be cement. They'll find cheaper, easier alternatives. They'll be able to build.
I see what you're saying, because you don't actually need the adhesive to keep the bricks together because it's it's the same product. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not being funny, but you will be able to build them you'll be able to build them out of snow or mud or whatever you've got, clay,
shit.
Whatever's available.
You could harvest an entire year of province cow shit. I'm not even
No,
joking.
I don't mean that in a funny way, but yeah,
No,
you
I
can
know you
use
don't. I know you don't.
whatever you can mix with water that will then go hard. You can use that.
You're not helping yourself. But no, I know exactly what you mean. But I reckon bricklayers the world over are like, helps that. Someone's just set up a company bricklaying and they saw that video the next day.
Yeah, it's gonna come to everyone.
But you know, hello Philip, good to see you, son. When it's 40 below in Montreal, the eaves creak. Oh, 40 below, stop it. Look at that, Alexander. He's doxing the boy Cray with a little bit of poetry as well. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, here we go. Mouse cat, who would know? Concrete, mortar, 8 temps over 28 degrees. Special K on acid says, don't do it, Chris. It's crap. Give me a bit more information. I'm not saying you're wrong. All I know is I've watched those videos and thought, you've got your house built in a day there. Well, you know, the basics. I mean, my missus built a house for her family in the province, and she done it like bit by bit. So it started off just with like sheet metal, but you know, it's not quite it's like that square corrugated. But then there's another panel on the inside so that you're not leaning against the wall and burning your arm off. And then she put in like tiled floors. It cost about $5,000 over a couple of years. And she made all that money pole dancing, bless her. And they stopped living on the street and going through the rubbish to get plastic bottles and things and moved in. And over the years, and she's put in a toilet. There's a toilet, but it's like shared by a few different people in the province, and it's outside. So you've got to wander around outside at night if you need to use the parney. But yeah, bless her, she's built them an house. But you know that I am thinking just buy something where the basics are already there. Everyone on the expats forum said the difference in hassle is, you know, if you buy an house, an old couple, they want to go and move in with their kids somewhere, they want a quick sale, you get it for cheaper, and you know, all you've got to do is make sure it's not full of termites and it's all go. Otto says they need a British Empire there. Well, get out here, Otto, and we'll get it going. You know, we start building houses out of cow poo. JP's dropped a lady in. Speaking of JP, I'm going to put the invite in the chat. Anyone wants to come in and have a chat, you're always welcome, John, of course. Brings a smile to everyone's face. He says it don't feel right. You being in a proper room, not a shack. Big up the danger and misses. Buy already built house. Don't have the hassle. It's horrible. I'm thinking that. I am thinking that. And, you know, just convince the missus that even though it'll be like a 2-room affair, over time we can just add to it. You know, I don't think she quite understands how much the houses she keeps showing me on Facebook cost. I'm like, yeah. I have a look in my bank and I'm like, I don't think my overdraft's going to quite stretch to that. Nice one, JP. And I think you're right, to be honest with you. I think you're right. Mousecat's actually seen them happen. Apocalypto hempcrete. I know exactly what you mean. I've never heard of it, but hemp is a fascinating, what would you call it? Substance.
In many ways.
Things out of it, didn't they? They make it's cannabis plants with no psychoactive ingredients. That was all part. The hemp industry was all part of Harry Anslinger's and all that reefer madness stuff, because it was going to threaten the cotton industry because it's stronger, lasts longer, easier and cheaper to grow. 42 says it looks cool. Fitzy Kansas on the firm. Hello, mate. The bubble house. Is that the one we were just looking because of the sort of curvature of the sphincter? Special K really. Special K is. I'm assuming this is something that you know about because you're being quite you're hitting me with these negatives with gusto and probably rightly so.
I would want it to do. I'd want it to do ice gems all along the tops of my walls. You know what I mean? You know them little biscuits with the little.
I
blob
know
of
exactly
ice
what an ice gem is. It's the one where you take the ice bit off and throw the boring biscuit away when you're a kid. I'll tell you what, in this new pad we've got here, when you get downstairs, there's another house. You have to pass another house downstairs. It's really sweet. There's this old bird there, and she used to be married to a European. She can speak English, and she called me out one day. She just went, you know, she's got to be in her 60s, and she just went, "Hello, how's your day been?" And I was like, well, it just got very strange, and she laughed. But all around the walls, and this will take a lot of English, well, British people back to the 70s. All the walls have got a smear of cement on top and loads of broken bottles. Do you remember that as kids? Trying to climb over a wall and you just lacerate your fingers.
Yeah. Bottoms of bottles set into cement.
And the tops. And the
Yeah,
top.
yeah.
Some of them over here, they're not just a little bit. Some of them are like 2-3 inches thick. I mean, if you can't afford razor wire, I suppose. Alexander likes his houses built, not printed. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, it's early days of this technology. It might. Special K, who I was actually listening to and taking your advice, has suddenly said, find a nice hillside and build an earth ship. Yep. I will look into that because I'm going to trust you, but the provinces are very flat because they originated around the paddy fields, which are just flat. There are some terrace farms, but the hillsides are terrace farms. They're more paddy fields, but they look beautiful. Those. Let's have a look at some terrace farming. Excuse me, because that is beautiful. Oh. Does anyone know? Is there any terrace farming going off in England? I mean, it's an incredible way of making use of land that otherwise. Well, I've not seen this video before. Where is this? See if it tells you where it is.
As an Englishman, I'd like to say I've got no idea what the Scottish do and the Welsh do with all the land you can't grow anything on.
This is only 13 seconds. I ain't watching that. Well, I want to watch one where there's a lot of it because it's absolutely beautiful. Oh, here we go. This is Vietnam. Hang on. I know you can't see anything yet. I'm just getting rid of the ads. Skip that. I mean, look. Oh, hang on. Stop. I mean, if you're living in an area that's not flat, you know, and you need to grow rice, and it's all very hilly. Oh, look what's going on behind me. What's going on here? Hey, do that again. Do that again. Open the window. Right, here, check this out, people. Hang on a minute. Look who's been lurking.
All right, lads.
JP. The football starts in 4 minutes, John. But I'm gonna give you a good 5-10 minutes because I like you a lot.
You don't have to. You can go and watch your sport ball if you want.
Oh, another one of those. Good Lord.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate football.
Why?
There's only one spectator sport an Englishman should be watching. Pro wrestling.
Here, I'll check out this. I think we should be watching terrace farming. Have a look at this. Oh. Look at that. It's incredible, huh? Look at it. If you think about it, if you were to
Mukang Chai in Vietnam
Whoa.
is one of the most extraordinary landscaped sites.
I don't care about what you've got to say, I'm afraid. Look at it. Look. If you were to flatten that, you've got the same area as if it was a flat field. Does anyone know? Is there any terrace farming going on in the UK? I suppose we don't look at the old commie T-shirts. Jesus. Oh, I better not say that. I live in a communist country myself. What I meant was, well done. Look at that, though. 1,000 metres above sea level. My missus was doing that when she was 4 years old. Exactly that. That's planting it, that is. And it's back-breaking work. You're bent over like that, like 8 hours a day. In fairness, she'd done a bit of work like that when she was older too. Look at that. I'm glad someone got it. But look, they've got to get all that water up there as well. Yeah, look, there's those buffaloes, all those Vietnamese tourists have been paying for the last 30 years. Look at the irrigation. How the hell do they get that up there?
Amazing Aryan engineering, ancient Aryan engineering.
I was wondering whether getting the water up there might be like a lock system. Do you know what I mean? I find that absolutely fat. Oh, hang on. Old Tulpa Court. You knew here, Tulpa Court. Don't remember the name, but lovely to have you. No,
Yeah,
the water flow. Of course it does.
It goes down from them great big mountains behind them.
Because it's at the top of a mountain, it's in the clouds, so the water flows down. So JP, were you joking then, or look at that though, beautiful, huh? Imagine
That's
having a
beautiful.
there. That would be lovely. Nice, that little pad on the right of the screen, or even there. I'd love to live there. That'd do me. See out my
Look at that. You look at that and you think Southeast Asia, don't you? It's not been ruined by diversity yet, has it? And communism.
Well, it has, but luckily a long time ago. You got to remember, Vietnam, Cambodia are still communist countries, and China, of course.
Yeah, but they've not brought the diversity into their communism yet, have they?
No. Well, because, I mean, I've got to be a little bit careful, but it's communism in name only, really. They're very strong capitalist economies. But what their communism was based on was Marx's original workers, lumpen proletariat and the bourgeoisie and all that, not race and gender. That's what the diversity thing is. They thought, well, let's use Marx's class model, but
and just kill 10% of the people.
Yeah. So, John, were you joking about Aryan technology? Did we terrace farm centuries ago? Honestly, I wasn't sure.
No, I believe all that is from the Aryan invasions when they spread into Southeast Asia and went into the Americas and all that.
And realised that if they were going to be able to feed people, they were going to have to farm up the side. I'll have to have a look into that. I mean, I'm not attributing it to anyone in particular, but that's interesting.
I've seen a few videos, read a bit about it. It's from the ancient area when they went into India, went into Southeast Asia, and all the Buddhas and all of that. Apparently, behind the Buddhas, they've paintings that the people that made, and they're all Westerners. The paintings of them are all Western people.
Do we know who these Western people are?
They're the Aryans.
Well, yeah, but in particular, names.
John, stop saying that word. Can you not just say English? European people?
Well,
from Iran, the white people from Iran, the Aryans.
The only man in the world to pronounce Iran, incredible.
So
That's
the
proper
stories of
thoroughfare.
ancient Aryans that came and taught us how to do this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. When they rode into India,
Are you
they
suggesting
went into South America and India. But all the Indians and that, they've all got Aryan histories.
Right.
That's why the
says
American
he's
Indians are covered in swastikas.
He says he's right. He says he's right.
Yeah.
Well, they're not swastikas, are they? Though they're a mirror
Well,
image.
that's just a name for it from a certain region. I mean, the English call it the filthot. We had it. We've got so-called swastikas, and we call them filthots.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, I'm absolutely naive about all this lot, but there's all the Indo-European languages. There's about 4 or 5 of those on the go.
What, in where you are?
No, but there's just Indo-European languages.
Oh yeah, I mean, Buddha was Indo-European apparently with blue eyes.
Well, it's weird, isn't it? Because there's the Greek image of the Buddha, which is the one with the sort of looks like, because you've got the big fat one, and then you've got the more feminine sort of looking one, haven't you? Which I think is Greek in origin. I don't know enough about this to really talk about it with any authority. So unless anyone
really, when you dig right into it, it gets really, really interesting and mind blowing. To be honest,
I feel the same about football, John.
Get into wrestling, man. Forget sports ball. Get into wrestling. Man's sport.
Anglo says, am I being dumb? Internet in the provinces. Well, you can get 4G out there, but I'm not going to be able to run a business on 4G. So it might have to be a Starlink. But the provinces, yeah, this is an issue, to be honest with you. But obviously, the missus says there are people with Wi-Fi. I'm yet to meet one, to be honest with you. I mean, I've done a stream from out there once. Remember, maybe you didn't see it, Anglo. It was only like a short one because I only had my phone. But maybe it'd be a Starlink thing. That's what it's invented for, isn't it? For places like that. Nice one, Anglo. I can't read that out. I can't read that out. Listen, people, I am going to have to go because I have got to watch it. I'm also knackered. I mean, I have done 2.5 hours, and I promised my missus an hour and a half, so I'm already sleeping in the doghouse. Oh yeah, I taught her that sleeping in the doghouse, but her translation of it is she keeps going, "You're going to be sleeping with dogs tonight." I'm like, yeah, there's a chance of that.
I tell you, when you showed earlier that little where she prays, the little what do you call it?
Oh yeah, the little sort of.
You showed it, and I thought, how sweet is that? That is so sweet.
Yeah, it's lovely. It was lovely this
so
morning.
Sweet.
I was see that these like window slats. There's another one over there, and I was just peeking at it, and she's got the like about 20 joysticks there, and she was sort of saying it all. And I said to her afterwards, I said, "What do you say?" Because I wanted to know whether she's actually like saying Sanskrit, like Buddhist text, or whatever. And she said it's a bit of both. You know, there'll be some sort of classic lines that you say, but she'll also say, wish my family health and sort of good luck, and she calls me her husband, my husband, good luck and all that. And I said to her, I said, can I do it with you next time? She said, of course, yeah. When I went out to the province, I went to like a bigger affair. There was, it was weird because at 6'2", it was like I was like a lighthouse with all these little Cambodians, and most of them had never seen a white person, and they were just all glaring at me. but you have to sit in a certain way, like both legs go to the left. You can't sit cross-legged, that's not allowed. And it was fucking agony. I was just there, just like, you know, the old pins and needles in one leg, the other one getting freezing cold. And I was thinking, and in the end I said to my girlfriend, I said, I've got to move. And she went, well, you can move. And it's weird because, you know, that, like I said, they do laugh when they get a face full of water because the monks at the top whip this water at them. And, you know, it's quite a sort of jolly little affair. And then at the end of that went on for about half hour. And then they say, well, they don't say, everyone knows how it works, but people go up to the monks and they're like the top monks, you know, they're about 100 years old. And you ask them if they'll sort of say something for whatever. And my missus said to me, she said, ask them to make sure your father's all right. You know, he's dead, obviously. And I said, well, can you? She said, yeah. And she's told him, and so I'm sitting there. And in Cambodia, that's how you say, when you say hello to someone, you do that. I can't remember what it's called. There's a name for it. But if you do it to a child, it's very low, like down where your sternum is. If it's an equal, it's up here. But when it's a monk, you do it up here. And when I found that out, I realised why so many people, while I've been here, are thinking, what the fuck? I was going, nice one, mate. That's like going up to an homeless person and going, and like getting on one knee and going, Your Highness.
How amazing, though, that it's amazing. It's amazing that we've lost all that, haven't we?
Yeah. And that's what I keep saying to her. I said, I can't wait. I said, the reason I want to do it with you, I bowl them, you bat them. I said, is because I want our children to see you doing that. I said, if this country loses that, that's the start of the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's beautiful is there is loads, they're you know, religion, for religion to work, it's about repetition. You know, just keep doing it, keep reminding people, and it's like all cultures should be. I mean, all this inclusivity is the antithesis of culture. Culture is exclusive. You ain't one of us. That's what it says, and it's so nice that, you know, every other month she'll be like, oh, it's Pachambun next week, or it's this other festival, or it's the Festival of Ancients, where the elders of the villages, they teach the kids, and it's all oral history. None of this is written down. They talk to them about their great grandparents. They know them by name and all that. And then those children grow and they'll know like 6 or 7 generations back. And they put all these, they look like birdhouses really. And they put them out and they just put all these little symbolic little wooden carvings in them, so that when the spirits of their elders come around on that particular night, they see these symbolic images and they know that the family are thinking about them. And all it's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. You're gonna make me cry thinking about it. All that we used to have all of that, didn't we?
Yeah, and also what it does to them for the community.
Yeah.
You know, when that one I was talking to you about, when my legs nearly fell off. Hey, scrubs, got one. My own leg fell off. All the provinces in the area turned up, and after the sort of rituals and the prayers and all that, it's gossip time, and everyone wants to know who's having a baby. And listen to this, John. And this is connected to it because it's part of the Buddhist way. I think at the moment, the last time I checked was a couple of years ago. It might have changed by now, but the women, the girls in the provinces have on average, I think, 5.1 children. And they usually start pumping them out when they're about 15. So they've had their 5 kids by the time they're sort of 23. And And you know, if you think about it, those by the time the parent is 38, their kids are going to start having children.
Yeah.
And if you keep up those kinds of numbers, that's why Cambodia is 98% Khmer Buddhist. Because what did I read today? That South Korea has got a birth rate of something like 1.6. It's just, you know, what are they going to? Well, you know what they're going to do. They're going to go to those countries, and we know what ones. Where there's millions of people that will do anything and import them. And well, okay, but there goes your country.
Yeah, another culture dead.
Yeah. Exactly that, and that's the irony. That's the irony of the whole diversity thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
bring it all in. We love diversity, yeah, but you're erasing it. That's what globalism does. It erases diversity.
I've got a little video clip of the Berbers, and the Berbers saying, "Look, there's about a handful of them left because they call it they've been Arabized."
Okay.
All the Arabs have moved in, but they've not only taken their lands and that, they've taken over their culture and their customs and turned it into their own, and they're using it as a fancy dress to get. Yeah, they dress up. All the tourists go there and go, "Oh, it's the Berbers." No, it's the actual Arabs that are just dressed up as the Berbers and going, "This is our culture. Watch us dance."
Yeah. Now, John, this is a serious point. This is why I maintain my interest in football, because culture wars are about territory. I think of cultural territory, and the English invented football. And if you're going to give that away, and you know, I can understand why people, you know, I didn't like. I even when I got into football. I was thinking about this last night. I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if a load of rich people set up a new league where if your team was Manchester Athletic, all those players had to be born in Manchester. You know, I understand the issues, but I just think if you hand over things like football and then you hand over this, you ain't getting them back.
I understand your position, and I get it, and I respect it. But truthfully, I've never liked football anyway. Never. I've never liked playing it. Never liked watching it. The only time I went to West Ham was just to stay on the piss for me.
Well, the games. You can't drink at Champions League matches. They don't sell alcohol at Champions League matches. That's ridiculous.
Last time I went to West Ham, it was Upton Park. It was a couple of weak beers in a plastic thing at half time. I was like, I used to go there as a kid and used to get a nice pie and a cup of like Bovril. Nah, just weak beer. You can't even get a pie. It's just them hot dogs.
Wait, check this out. At the Arsenal, when you order water, they take the lid off before they give it to you. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do all that in one go, and I want to put it in my pocket. And they're like, nah, because they think that they're right, but it's ridiculous. If you've got the lid on it, you can throw that on the pitch. Whereas if it hasn't got the lid on it, I mean, okay, but if you were really wanting to do that, you'd just take a couple of lids with you, wouldn't you?
You just throw a few coins or something, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that still goes on. That goes on between the crowds, though. It's hilarious.
Mate, I just can't. I couldn't hack it. It's just dead to me. Just dead to me.
Well, I'll tell you what would make you laugh, John, is I know how to play football, right? I know about finding space. I know about passing through lines. I know about off the ball. I know all that. But even when I was a young man, I can't do it. I always
never. I've got like two left feet. I can't play football. Never have been able to. That's why I went off it.
The truth.
Yeah. But rugby, that was my game playing it. I loved it. Loved rugby. Loved it.
John, we've got the Navy, we've got rugby. You've got one more on that list. And you know where I'm going with that, don't you?
I'm not a taker though.
I mean, you're not a proper Bondre if you don't take, I suppose.
No, I could never. I'm giving. I can see that, but I could never be bummed.
And on that note, I am going to watch the football because I don't want to. I want to watch West Ham get bummed. JP, see you later.
See you later, brother. See you later, Packer.
Cracking last
See you later,
line.
Scrubs.
Look, have a good weekend, John.
And you, fella, take it easy.
I could never be bummed. I mean, let's face it, you don't get that anywhere else on the internet. Right, I want to thank Anglo-Saxon because he did drop a load of donations today. And his last one, he said, Chris, 42 is the Anglo-Saxon. Remember we played it? Song Anglo-Saxon wrote about Anglo-Saxon, and Anglo-Saxon wrote me an email, and trust me, he is chuffed to fuck. And it's now on 8,500 views. Amazing. And let's have it right. We've had 42 around these parts for years. No one had him as a rapper, did they? No one would have put a tuppence on 42, getting 8,500 people listening to him rapping about the Anglo-Saxon. Nice one, Anglo. And 42 is streaming at 10:30. I take it that's tonight, so check that out. Can you like the stream, people, if you haven't? It really helps. Well, I say it does, it doesn't. Well, it does. Please like it. I'm going to play out a bit of music. I'm going to put your comments on the screen. That's another way of saying there's still time to help me build my Cambodian house. Can we have a P in the chat from my man Packer, who saved the day, really? He never thinks he does, but I am shattered. And just having him here, he's like a big lump of jelly that I can just when I'm feeling a little bit. Oh, you see? You never knew that, did you?
No, I get it now. Yeah.
I don't know what it meant either. You're all right. Thank you, Packer. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, mate. I'll let you go. Give Packer some love, people. Ta-da, mate. Ta-da.
Cheers, Scrubs.
And there you go, people. So I'm now going to play a bit of music. I'm going to put your messages on the screen. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and bless you all. And don't forget to tell the people you love that you love them, because we often forget, and it makes their day. This is a bit of music by Paul Mumford, and I'm going to dedicate this to Anglo-Saxon as well. There will be an awkward silence. It should start any minute now. Let me get my boat race off the screen. This is called Cold Hard Steel. Well, this is.
Tell your daddy you're fighting good. Feel the glory he said you would.
Hello, Sheila.
Tell your mama you're coming home. Over all of that.
Hello,
Lee. But you realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel.
This is me in it. All those sweets got delivered. Thanks for the angels, right? Amazing.
Feel the fear and go anyway. Get right in that big black plane. Kill your conscience along your brain. But you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Cause the wind's already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh, you'll be murdering someone's son.
I missed loads of moments tonight, but hello everyone, apologies for that, I do try.
Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord, yes, you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord, cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord,
It certainly was a bumming heavy ending to the show there. Nice one for that last one, Anglo. Well, I have done, but not a blade. My weapon of choice is metal, but I probably shouldn't talk about that sort of stuff. But yeah, for sure. I mean, if someone went for my missus, they wouldn't. They'd be, they'd be eating through a straw. Where am I? There. I want to thank my moderators. I want to thank Packer. I want to thank everyone who came on and chatted. That isn't easy to do. And I want to thank everyone who donated. That's a double bubble for me at the moment. Much appreciated. If anyone donated on Entropy, I don't know what happened. I kept checking it, but it isn't updating. So I'll have a look tomorrow, because by the next day you can check the account, and I'll make sure you get thanked. Someone did donate on the. I'll get your video done. I'll get it done before the game ends, because if we lose, you'll get a miserable video, man. And most of all, I want to thank everyone who comes here. It's so lovely. Apologies for not being around a lot. If you weren't here at the beginning, you don't know why. I will be trying to get a few more in before I disappear for a couple of months, but I need some rest. I'm absolutely fucked, people. Basically. But if you didn't hear the beginning, go and watch it. It's only about 10 minutes. I yap about it. Packer dropped a $5 in at the end there. The pleasure's all mine, Packer. It's nice to have you on when John's on, because, all that rugby, all that rugger. We know what that rhymes with, don't we? Look after yourselves, people, and a massive hoy.